Phoenix Knights. Chapter 2040. The black dragon sword is actually devouring the giant merman's flesh and soul. Could it be that the giant merman's flesh and soul can help the black dragon's sword unlock its seal? Lin Feng's heart skipped a beat. The black dragon sword was originally listed in the Divine Sword Manual, rank 72nd. However, there was one thing to be clear. The black dragon sword had 9 seals added to it. With each additional seal added, the black dragon sword's power would be greatly reduced. Moreover, it had 9 seals added to it. One could imagine. The black dragon sword's power could not be unleashed. However, even with 9 seals added to it, the black dragon sword could still be rank 72nd in the Divine Sword Manual. If the seals were unlocked, how terrifying would the black dragon sword be? By chance, Lin Feng had already unlocked 2 seals on the black dragon sword. The black dragon sword's power had become abnormally terrifying, far surpassing an ordinary giant weapon god. When the second seal was unlocked, Lin Feng knew that the black dragon sword must be hiding a huge secret. The black dragon sword was not a divine weapon at all. Its level should be far beyond a divine weapon. However, the black dragon sword's power could not be unleashed because of the seals. Only by unlocking all the seals on the black dragon sword. Only by unlocking the seals could the black dragon sword's power be unleashed. Only by unlocking the seals could one know what level the black dragon sword was. Now that the black dragon sword was devouring the giant merman's flesh and soul, it was a sign that the black dragon sword was about to unlock the 3rd seal. Lin Feng flicked his finger. Bang, 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 bang. The other 4 giant mermen's corpses also crumbled, turning into flesh and soul. Phew! The black dragon sword emitted a powerful devouring power, devouring all the flesh and soul of the 4 giant mermen's corpses. Lin Feng smiled. It seemed that the black dragon sword was about to unlock the 3rd seal. When the black dragon sword unlocked the 3rd seal, the black dragon sword's power would increase greatly. Lin Feng was looking forward to unlocking all 9 seals on the black dragon sword. However, he knew that this could not be rushed. It had to be done step by step. Haste makes waste. Lin Feng continued to control the 4 treasured swords, the 4 cauldrons, and the demonic saber to unleash their strongest attacks on the 2nd giant merman. He was now focusing his power and killing them one by one. Puff! A tearing sound could be heard. The 2nd giant merman was killed. Bang! The 4 ferocious cauldrons crashed into the 2nd giant merman. The body of the 2nd giant merman exploded. The black dragon sword also devoured the flesh and soul of the 2nd giant merman. Lin Feng could sense the pleasant surprise emanating from the black dragon sword. At the same time, he also felt a strong desire. The black dragon sword thirsted for more flesh and blood essence. Although the black dragon sword had already devoured the flesh and souls of the 6 giant mermen, these flesh and souls were far from enough to unlock the 3rd seal. Lin Feng attacked with all his might and continued to kill the other giant mermen. Bang! 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 Sounds of bodies exploding could be heard as the giant mermen were killed one after another. It didn't take long. 20 of the 30 giant mermen were killed by Lin Feng. There were still 10 giant mermen left. At the other side, under the attacks of the 9th Evil Dragon Palace and the Merfolk Army, the Dragon Gate Cultivator Army, and the Oceanic Race Cultivator Army were gradually unable to hold on. People were constantly being killed. The ground was littered with corpses. This was war. War was so cruel. Little bastard, you're courting death. At this moment, an angry roar could be heard. A purple-scaled merman looked at Lin Feng furiously, his eyes filled with killing intent. When the purple-scaled merman saw Lin Feng kill so many giant mermen, he wanted to cut Lin Feng into pieces. Whoosh! The purple-scaled merman quickly charged towards Lin Feng. His body emitted a terrifying aura. This was an ancestor-level expert. However, the Merfolk race was very powerful. Ordinary Merfolk race members could deal with 4 or 5 experts of the same level from other races. As the royal family of the Merfolk race, the purple-scaled mermen were even more powerful. Therefore, this purple-scaled merman's cultivation was not something an ordinary ancestor-level cultivator could compare to. Lin Feng, you brat, your death is here! The Longyuan sect also flew towards Lin Feng, wanting to take Lin Feng's life. The Longyuan sect had lost an arm, so his combat strength was greatly reduced. Lin Feng did not care about the Longyuan sect at all. What he really cared about was the purple-scaled merman. He was too powerful. Lin Feng could challenge those of a higher level. The purple-scaled merman could also challenge those of a higher level. Although the purple-scaled merman could not defeat opponents of a higher level like Lin Feng. However, the purple-scaled merman's cultivation level was higher. He suppressed Lin Feng in terms of cultivation level, and he was also someone who could challenge those of a higher level. Therefore, this purple-scaled merman was a huge problem for Lin Feng. I have to end this quickly, otherwise, it will be disadvantageous for me. Lin Feng glanced at the battlefield not far away. The dragon sect and oceanic race cultivators were retreating. They could not hold on much longer. Therefore, Lin Feng had to finish off the purple-scaled merman as soon as possible. Brat, die! The merman of the purple scale race attacked. A purple ball of energy condensed in his hand. He directly took out the purple energy ball. It charged towards Lin Feng. The Longyuan sect was more sinister. Chapter 2041. Go to hell! Longyuan Zong's face was full of ferocity. He turned around and slashed at Lin Feng with his sword, wanting to split Lin Feng in half. Facing Longyuan Zong's attack, Lin Feng did not dodge. His left hand kept changing hand seals, using the 3000 Great Tao of the Great Defense technique to condense a defensive crystal wall in front of his body. Longyuan Zong's hasty attack was immediately blocked by the defensive crystal wall. Then, Lin Feng's powerful punch landed on Longyuan Zong's body. Bang! Longyuan Zong's body exploded, and he died on the spot. However, the black dragon sword did not devour Longyuan Zong's flesh and soul. It seemed that only the flesh and soul of the merfolk could be effective in unsealing the black dragon sword. Damn it! Damn it! Lord Longyuan Zong and Lord Lu Ming were killed by that kid! Go and kill that kid! An expert from the evil dragon race roared angrily. He immediately led a large group of people to attack Lin Feng. Stop them! Wanyan Yang shouted and led the dragon sect cultivator army to stop these people. Lin Feng came in front of these giant merfolk. He attacked with all his might. He attacked these giant merfolk crazily. Poof! 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 The giant merfolk were killed one by one, and their bodies were blasted apart by the 4 ferocious cauldrons. Then, all their flesh and soul were devoured by the black dragon sword. Under the perfect cooperation of Lin Feng and his godly realm clone, the 10 giant merfolk were quickly killed. After the black dragon sword devoured the last 10 giant merfolk, endless black fog was emitted from the black dragon sword. Suddenly, an ancient voice came from the black dragon sword. Even if billions of eras have passed, even if thousands of reincarnations have passed, even if the eras have changed, it will still be difficult to destroy. After that voice came out, it fell silent. The aura emitted from the black dragon sword became more and more terrifying. The black dragon sword had absorbed so much flesh and soul of the merfolk. Now, these flesh and soul had turned into the purest energy, crazily attacking the 3rd seal of the black dragon sword. Tear that brat into pieces! Suddenly, a roar rang out from afar. The allied army had broken through the blockade set up by the cultivators from the Dragon Gate and Oceanic clan. They then charged towards Lin Feng. This kind of large-scale battle was different from a battle between cultivators. In a battle of magical powers, cultivators had time to use all kinds of magic treasures and divine abilities to fight their enemies. Therefore, a battle of magical powers between cultivators was a comprehensive test of various factors, such as magical powers, magic treasures, and so on. However, this kind of large-scale battle involved too many people. It was impossible for the other party to give you so much time to prepare your divine ability and control your artifact. Such a battle It was equivalent to hand-to-hand combat. The outcome of the battle depended entirely on one's physical body, reaction time, strength, martial skills, and other factors. The cultivator army was engaged in a large-scale battle. Most of the time, it was very similar to a battle between two armies in the secular world. Seeing so many troops rushing over, Lin Feng held the Black Dragon sword. The rest of the Dharma treasures, including the God Realm Avatar, were also stored in the mountain river ring. He shouted loudly, "The Dragon Gate Cultivator Army, the Oceanic Race Cultivator Army, and the Giant Mermen have all been slaughtered. Quickly retreat into the ancient city!" As soon as he finished speaking, he was already engaged in battle with the army. Clang! 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 Pft! 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 The sound of violent collisions could be heard. Ripping sounds could also be heard. Although the Alliance army had a large number of people, Lin Feng seemed to have entered a no-man's land. He killed in all directions. Lin Feng's physical body was too powerful. His physical body could kill a true dragon. Therefore, even if he was surrounded by an army, he was fearless. If they wanted to kill Lin Feng would have to exhaust his physical strength. At this time, his strength, speed, reaction time, and so on would decline rapidly. This was the best time to kill Lin Feng. But now, Lin Feng was still very energetic. The Dragon Gate Cultivator Army and the Oceanic Race Cultivator Army began to retreat. The Alliance Army pressed forward step by step, forcing the Dragon Gate Cultivator Army and the Oceanic Race Cultivator Army to the side of the city wall. "Activate the attack array and cover everyone to come in!" The elder of the Deep Sea Demon Kingdom royal family who was in charge of the operation of the array shouted loudly. Boom, 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 one after another, powerful offensive formations were activated and blasted towards the Alliance army. At the same time, loud rumbling sounds could be heard. The city gate opened. The Dragon Gate Cultivator Army and the Oceanic Race Cultivator Army quickly retreated into the ancient city. "Charge! Charge! Charge!" The upper echelons of the Alliance army roared furiously. The army rushed over quickly. The Dragon Gate Cultivator Army and the Oceanic Race Cultivator Army retreated as they fought. "Haha, brother-in-law is really a young hero. I admire you!" Su Jiyuan and Lin Feng met up. He said with a laugh. Lin Feng smiled bitterly. Even Su Jiyuan thought that he and Princess Shueli were lovers. He felt so wronged. It seemed that the people of the Deep Sea Demon Kingdom royal family thought so. Should he find a time to make the act real? Really make Princess Shueli his woman? The Oceanic Race Princess became his woman. That seemed pretty good. "Brother-in-law, you flatter me," Lin Feng said humbly. The group of people retreated as they fought. Lin Feng and Su Jiyuan led part of the Dragon Gate Cultivator Army and the Oceanic Race Cultivator Army to bring up the rear. At this time, the fluctuations emitted from the Black Dragon's sword were getting stronger and stronger. Su Jiyuan also noticed that the sword in Lin Feng's hands seemed to be not right. He looked at the Black Dragon's sword in surprise. When Lin Feng, Su Jiyuan, and the others retreated to the city gate, Lin Feng's Black Dragon's sword emitted a series of dragon roars. The Black Dragon's sword buzzed as if it wanted to break free from Lin Feng and rush to the ninth heaven. An unimaginably terrifying power surged in the Black Dragon's sword. It seemed to want to break out of his body. Lin Feng knew that the Black Dragon's sword was crazily attacking the third seal. "Kill! Charge into the ancient city!" The densely packed Alliance army roared and rushed over. They wanted to charge into the ancient city with Lin Feng and the others. "Go to hell!" Lin Feng held the Black Dragon's sword with both hands and slashed at the densely packed Alliance army. After he slashed, Lin Feng felt that the terrifying power instantly tore apart the Black Dragon's sword's third seal. The power of the Black Dragon's sword soared crazily. Lin Feng's awed attack condensed into a dazzling sword light. That dazzling sword light directly slashed towards the Alliance army. Puff, tearing sounds rose and fell one after another. When the sword light disappeared, everyone saw it. In front of the ancient city, there were densely packed corpses. Lin Feng's sword. It actually killed 40 to 50,000 Alliance army. The Alliance army was scared silly. The Dragon Sex Cultivator army, the Sea Clan's Cultivator army, and so on. Everyone was scared out of their wits. That sword just now was too terrifying, too heaven-defying. Killing 40 to 50,000 people with a single sword strike was simply unbelievable. Quick, retreat into the ancient city! Lin Feng shouted. At this time, the Dragon Sex Cultivator army and the Sea Clan's Cultivator army who were in charge of bringing up the rear came back to their senses and quickly retreated into the city. Rumble! The huge city gate closed again. Everyone's gaze shifted to the outside. The one who had caused such a violent fluctuation was none other than someone else. It was the battle between the Deep Sea Demon Emperor, the Butchering God, and the Dragon's Soul. In midair, the four Imperial armaments confronted one another. Meanwhile, Slayer God and Long Yuanhun were attacking Deep Sea Demon Emperor in a frenzy. The Deep Sea Demon Emperor was very powerful, and the Deep Sea Demon Emperor was the descendant of the sea god Poseidon. His bloodline was extremely powerful. Therefore, the Deep Sea Demon Emperor's battle prowess was heaven-defying. But the Deep Sea Demon Emperor's biggest weakness was that he was injured. And Slayer God and Long Yuanhun were at their peak. Not to mention, even though he was injured, the Deep Sea Demon Emperor was still fighting 1 against 2. At the beginning of this battle, the Deep Sea Demon Emperor was still able to resist the combined attacks of Slayer God and Long Yuanhun. But as the battle progressed, the Deep Sea Demon Emperor's disadvantage became apparent, and the injuries that he had suppressed with great difficulty also flared up again. All of this affected the Deep Sea Demon Emperor's combat strength. Therefore, the Deep Sea Demon Emperor was already showing signs of defeat under the combined attacks of Slayer God and Long Yuanhun. The situation was very bad. Damn it! If my father wasn't injured! Slayer God and Long Yuanhun are no match for my father at all! Su Jiyuan's expression was gloomy. As the descendant of the sea god Poseidon, the king of the Deep Sea Demon Kingdom, and one of the top 10 super experts of the Sea Clan, the Deep Sea Demon Emperor indeed had the ability to defeat the combined attacks of Slayer God and Long Yuanhun. But the premise was that he was not injured. But the reality was that the Deep Sea Demon Emperor was injured. Immortal defying divine fist! Evil dragon sky destruction! Slayer God and Long Yuanhun once again used their powerful divine abilities to attack the Deep Sea Demon Emperor. Sea God Storm! The Deep Sea Demon Emperor also made his move. He condensed a new divine ability, which evolved into an endless storm that swept across the sky and attacked Slayer God and Long Yuanhun. Bang! The two sides collided again. With the battlefield as the center, a storm swept out, and huge waves surged into the sky. The aftermath of the energy dissipated. The Deep Sea Demon Emperor was forced back and coughed out a mouthful of blood. Father, King! Countless people of the Deep Sea Demon Kingdom were shocked when they saw this scene. They were worried for the Deep Sea Demon Emperor. Ha ha ha, Brother Su, it seems that your body is not in good condition. Defeat is a foregone conclusion. You can't turn the tables. Slayer God laughed. If you and Long Yuanchang didn't sneak attack me, would I be injured? If you want to kill me, it won't be an easy task. The Deep Sea Demon Emperor's voice was cold. He waved his hand and an illusion of an ocean appeared. This divine ability was called the Endless Sea, which could block all kinds of attacks. Slayer God and Long Yuanhun's expressions sank. They quickly charged over, wanting to kill the Deep Sea Demon Emperor. However, they were stopped by the Endless Sea. The Deep Sea Demon Emperor quickly returned to the ancient city. Father! How are you? Su Jiyuan hurried over and asked worriedly. I'm fine. Defend the city with all your strength and evacuate everyone, the Deep Sea Demon Emperor said. Third sister is evacuating the Deep Sea Demon Kingdom's residence, Su Jiyuan said. The Deep Sea Demon Emperor nodded. Lin Feng looked at his cheap father-in-law and said, Father-in-law, I have all kinds of healing pills here. They can help you heal your injuries quickly. The deep-sea demon emperor said. You're too kind, honorable son-in-law. The reason why my injuries haven't healed yet is because there are some terrifying demonic energy in my body that hasn't been removed. If I don't remove these demonic energies, even immortal herbs of immortality won't be able to heal me, asked Lin Feng. Is there anything I can do for you? Asked Lin Feng. Defend the ancient city. Evacuate the deep-sea demon kingdom's residents. The deep-sea demon emperor seemed to treat Lin Feng as his son-in-law, so he didn't show any courtesy to Lin Feng. I'll do my best, Lin Feng said. The deep-sea demon emperor quickly entered the imperial palace to suppress the demonic energies in his body. Attack the city! Attack the city with all your strength! Wait until the day the city falls! We must kill every single one of them. That's right! Everybody from the deep-sea animal kingdom will die. And that Lin Feng, we have to catch him and crush him into 1,000,000 pieces. The butchering god and the dragon origin soul roared in anger. Boom, boom, boom. The 500 ancient warships fired a dense number of spirit stone cannons. The allied army also took out numerous treasures. Countless spirit stone cannons and treasures bombarded the deep-sea demon kingdom's defenses. This was because the deep-sea demon kingdom's defenses had been damaged by the two emperor weapons. Therefore, when the allied army attacked the city again, the deep-sea demon kingdom's defenses shook violently. Kacha kacha. The defenses in many places began to shatter. Chapter 2043. Lin Feng had already expected that the defense of the deep-sea demon kingdom would not be able to withstand the attack of the Alliance army. Lin Feng did not think that he could really withstand the attack of the Alliance army. What he needed to do now was to stall for as much time as possible. He would stall for as long as he could. The longer he could stall for, the better. Lin Feng discussed with the dozen or so spirit array masters of the deep-sea demon kingdom, and divided their work. Then, they scattered to repair the great array. Lin Feng's main task was to repair the broken deployment spells. The others were there to support him. With Lin Feng, the successor of the Celestial Master sect, the work of repairing the great array seemed to have become much simpler. Many damaged great arrays were repaired. Lin Feng also added some new emperor inscriptions. Time passed day by day. In the blink of an eye, 10 days passed. During these 10 days, the Alliance army continued to attack the city. The defense of the deep-sea demon kingdom had begun to be destroyed in all aspects, so Lin Feng was already somewhat helpless. Fortunately, most of the people of the deep-sea demon kingdom had been evacuated, leaving a small number of people. They held on for another 3 days. Crack! 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 The restrictions protecting the entire deep-sea demon kingdom began to crack. Seeing this scene, Slayer God and Long Yuan Hun immediately revealed a cold expression. In less than half a day, the restrictions of the deep-sea demon kingdom would definitely be broken. At this moment, Slayer God and Long Yuan Hun were wholeheartedly thinking of launching a massacre after breaking through the deep-sea demon kingdom. Only in this way could they calm the anger in their hearts. As for Lin Feng, they would not let Lin Feng die so easily. They thought of countless torture methods to ruthlessly torture Lin Feng. The grudge between the two sides was now too deep. Killing Lin Feng directly was too easy for Lin Feng. Other than the remaining cultivator army guarding the city, the rest of the people have been evacuated. Princess Shirley, who was in charge of the evacuation, flew over and said. Lin Feng nodded and said, Go and inform father-in-law. We should also withdraw. Ah? Princess Shirley's pretty face instantly turned pink. Previously, Lin Feng and the deep-sea demon emperor had been calling each other father-in-law, and son-in-law. This was enough to make Princess Shirley extremely shy. Now, Lin Feng actually called him father-in-law in front of him. What did Lin Feng mean by this? Was he hinting at her? For a moment, Princess Shirley's mind was in turmoil. When Lin Feng saw Princess Shirley's blushing face, he came back to his senses. Only then did he realize that he was a fake son-in-law. He said awkwardly, Princess, it was just a slip of the tongue. Please don't be angry. Princess Shirley faintly looked at Lin Feng and said, I won't be angry, so don't worry. When he said this, he couldn't help but feel a sense of loss in his heart. Princess Shirley found that she could no longer deceive her heart. How she wished that Lin Feng and she were really a couple. How great would that be? I'm going to see my father, Princess Shirley continued. Lin Feng nodded. Princess Shirley left. Not long after, the deep-sea demon emperor and Princess Shirley returned. Ha 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 ha, son-in-law, you're quite capable. You were able to use the formation to resist the allied army for so long. I'm very satisfied that Shirley was able to find a man like you. The deep-sea demon emperor wasn't a person who cared about trifles. He was very frank and outspoken. On the other hand, Princess Shirley's face was pink, and she looked extremely shy. When she looked at Lin Feng, her eyes became watery. Princess Shirley is so beautiful. Lin Feng glanced at Princess Shirley. He was also astonished by her beauty. He then turned to look at the deep-sea demon emperor and said, Father-in-law, please don't praise your son-in-law like that. Your son-in-law doesn't dare to show off his abilities in front of you. Being modest is a good thing. My son-in-law, you're really a good person. The deep-sea demon emperor praised Lin Feng again. Lin Feng felt embarrassed by the deep-sea demon emperor's praise. He said, Father-in-law, tell the cultivator army to retreat as well. We'll be the last ones to retreat. The deep-sea demon emperor said, It's time to retreat. Surely, go and gather the cultivator army from the dragon sect and the Oceanids. Tell everyone to retreat. Yes, father. Princess Shirley answered and hurriedly went to give the order. The crown prince, Su Jiyuan, accompanied Lin Feng and the deep-sea demon emperor as they chatted. Su Jiyuan smiled and asked, Brother-in-law, when do you plan on marrying Shirley? When Lin Feng heard Su Jiyuan's words, he almost coughed up blood. The deep-sea demon emperor smiled and said, Are you too excited? Is that why you can't control yourself? I'm just too shocked, okay? Lin Feng couldn't help but mutter inwardly. He naturally wouldn't say this out loud. He said, I'll have to discuss it with Shirley first before I can make a decision. Haha, then let's discuss it properly. I'm a very open-minded person. You can decide when you want to get married. However, if Shirley is pregnant, you must get married immediately. The deep-sea demon emperor said. Oh my God! Yi Futian murmured. Lin Feng wailed inwardly. This cheap father-in-law of his was too fickle in his thinking. Yes. I'll listen to father-in-law. Lin Feng hurriedly replied. The cultivator army from the dragon sect and the Oceanids began to retreat. Lin Feng and the deep-sea demon emperor both summoned the 9 demons painting and the golden trident back. They didn't stay any longer and headed to the teleportation array. When they arrived at the teleportation array, Lin Feng discovered that it was already at its limit. Many of the runes had already begun to self-destruct. It would probably only be able to operate for another hour before it was completely destroyed. Fortunately, the people of the Deep-Sea Demon Kingdom had already moved away. If there were more people in the Deep-Sea Demon Kingdom, it would be very dangerous. If the Deep-Sea Demon Kingdom had more people, countless people would have died here because they couldn't be evacuated. Lin Feng and the others also entered the array. Before the array was activated, Lin Feng set up a destruction restriction. Buzz. The array activated and Lin Feng and the others were transported away. The destruction restriction was activated and the teleportation array was completely destroyed. Why did they summon the 2 Imperial weapons back? Did they give up on resisting? Long Yuan Hun frowned. Could it be that something happened? Attack the city! Quickly enter the city and see what happened! Butchering God's eyes were gloomy. Soon, Butchering God gave the order. 500 ancient warships and the 2 Imperial weapons attacked the Deep-Sea Demon Kingdom's protection restriction with all their might. It only took 15 minutes. The restriction was completely destroyed. Kill! The cultivator army charged towards the Deep-Sea Demon Kingdom. However, when they entered the Deep-Sea Demon Kingdom, they were completely dumbfounded. The deep-sea demon kingdom was already empty. Everyone seemed to have disappeared into thin air. Chapter 2044. Swoosh! With a flash of light, Lin Feng appeared on an island. He looked around and saw a world of white fog. Where is this place? Lin Feng was puzzled. This is the ancestral land of the deep-sea demon tribe in the space-time reversal sea region, the deep-sea demon king said. Lin Feng nodded. Forces like the deep-sea demon tribe usually had an ancestral land. In fact, the reincarnation immortal sect also had an ancestral land. Lin Feng did not know where the ancestral land of the reincarnation immortal sect was, but he knew that the ancestral land was the most important place in the reincarnation immortal sect. It was a place that determined the rise and fall of a sect. The island was huge, and the space-time reversal sea region was full of dangers. Ordinary people could not enter. Therefore, this place was very safe. The deep-sea demon tribe was guarded by a few elders. It was originally very quiet, but now it was lively. Su Jiyuan arranged accommodations for the dragon sect's cultivator army. Lin Feng was arranged to stay in one of the courtyards. It was very close to the dragon sect's camp. Wan Yang came to see Lin Feng and reported the casualties of the dragon sect's cultivator army. Dragon Gate's cultivator army suffered 7,500 casualties and 852 died. The injured dragon sect cultivators did not need to worry. They would recover soon. Lin Feng's heart was heavy when he heard about the deaths of the cultivators. Lin Feng said, "When we return, everyone will be heavily rewarded. The families of the deceased will receive 10 times the compensation. Their children will also be brought to the Dragon Gate Island. The Dragon Gate Island will help them cultivate their children. Master is wise," Wan Yang said sincerely. He respected Lin Feng from the bottom of his heart. It was not only because Lin Feng was the leader of the dragon sect, but also because Lin Feng was his master. The most important reason was that Lin Feng treated his subordinates with sincerity. If it were other forces, the deaths of the cultivators who joined them would not be a big deal. It was very normal. Those forces would at most give some compensation to the families of the deceased cultivators and ignore them. Lin Feng, on the other hand, was different. Not only did he give out 10 times the compensation, he also wanted to raise the children of the dead cultivators. If the descendants of those dead cultivators were to be nurtured by the Dragon Gate Island, they would definitely have a meteoric rise in the future. In the evening, Princess Shirley came to Lin Feng's place. The moon was bright and the sea breeze blew. Under the moonlight, Princess Shirley was breathtakingly beautiful, like a fairy who had fallen from the palace of the moon to the mortal world. "Lin Gongzi, I really have to thank you this time. If it wasn't for you, who knows how many people from the deep-sea demon kingdom would have died?" Princess Shirley said. Lin Feng looked straight into Princess Shirley's eyes and said, "Didn't I tell you before that we're friends? That's why I helped you. I didn't help you because I wanted you to thank me. Now that the princess has come to thank me, it seems like you don't consider me a friend." "No, Lin Gongzi, don't misunderstand. I didn't mean that." Princess Shirley suddenly became anxious, afraid that Lin Feng would misunderstand her intentions. Seeing that Princess Shirley was about to cry, Lin Feng wrapped his arms around Princess Shirley's willowy waist. "Ah!" Princess Shirley cried out in surprise, her pretty face flushed red. "Young master, what are you doing?" Princess Shirley said with a red face. She didn't struggle and allowed Lin Feng to hug her. She was pleasantly surprised. As she interacted with Lin Feng again and again, Princess Shirley understood Lin Feng more and more. The more she understood Lin Feng, Princess Shirley found that she had fallen deeper and deeper. However, she was a woman, and there were many things that she couldn't say to Lin Feng. Women were always shy. "Nothing, I just want to hug a beauty and look at the moon," Lin Feng said. Under Princess Shirley's exclamation, Lin Feng carried Princess Shirley by her waist and flew to the eaves. The two of them sat on the eaves and looked at the bright moon. Princess Shirley leaned tightly against Lin Feng's side. If all of this was a dream, she hoped that she would never wake up from this dream. I saw Naza. How should I tell Naza? Will Naza be angry with me? Princess Shirley said worriedly. How could Naza be angry with you? Don't worry, Lin Feng said. Naza is very dependent on young master. I can feel that Naza also likes young master very much. Princess Shirley's face was full of worry. Naza really wants to live with you, Lin Feng said with a smile. The moonlight was beautiful. People were even more beautiful. Lin Feng slowly kissed Princess Shirley. Princess Shirley's pretty face flushed red and she closed her eyes. Cough, 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 cough. But at this moment, a cough was heard. The two of them were startled. Princess Shirley saw her father, the deep-sea demon emperor, and pushed Lin Feng away. She quickly flew down and bowed to the deep-sea demon emperor. The deep-sea demon emperor smiled and said, I hope I didn't disturb your lovey-dovey moment. Princess Shirley's pretty face was so red that it seemed like blood would drip out. She wailed in her heart. Father, you can't do this to your own daughter. Lin Feng also flew down from the eaves and said with a smile, Father-in-law, since you're here, this son-in-law welcomes you. This son-in-law just happens to have a type of top-notch spirit tea. I'd like to invite you to taste it later. Haha, spirit tea is great. When I have nothing to do, I like to drink spirit tea to pass the time. Shirley, lend your son-in-law to me for the night. I have some things to discuss with you, the deep-sea demon emperor said. I have some things to discuss with you. Princess Shirley's pretty face was pink, but she was smiling bitterly in her heart. Did her father think that she was already living with Lin Feng? Princess Shirley didn't explain. She just nodded and left. Lin Feng and the deep-sea demon emperor entered the room. Then, Lin Feng took out a tea set and spirit spring water and began to brew tea. Although he wasn't particularly proficient in the art of tea, he still had some understanding of it. After brewing the tea, the two of them chatted while sipping tea. Sipping tea was secondary, chatting was more important. Are you curious why I'd rather put the citizens of the deep-sea demon kingdom in danger than hand over that item? The deep-sea demon emperor asked after taking a sip of the spirit tea. Lin Feng hadn't expected the deep-sea demon emperor to be so direct. Because of this matter, he had even slandered his cheat father-in-law in his heart. But now, it seemed that there was more to this matter than met the eye. Lin Feng said, This son-in-law is indeed curious. The deep-sea demon emperor said, The implications of this item are too great. The 9 evil dragons and the purple scale race are very ambitious. If this item is given to them, it will definitely cause great chaos. When that time comes, the entire 9 provinces will fall into chaos. Who knows how many people will die tragically and how many factions will be destroyed. When he heard the deep-sea demon emperor's words, Lin Feng was shocked. What kind of treasure was this? How could it cause such great chaos? Chapter 2045. What kind of treasure is it? How could it cause such a huge commotion? Lin Feng asked curiously. The deep-sea demon emperor replied, To be more precise, it's not a treasure. It's a command medallion. A command medallion? Lin Feng was astonished. The deep-sea demon emperor continued. However, this command medallion isn't simple at all. It's called the Dead Spirit Command Medallion, and it's rumored that it can awaken the dead spirits slumbering in a mysterious space-time and make them serve you. That's... Lin Feng felt that this information was a bit strange. He continued, Spirits live in the netherworld, while living beings live in the young world. The netherworld has its own laws, and the young world has its own laws. These dead spirits won't easily manifest in the young world, right? After pausing for a moment, Lin Feng continued, From what I know, even if soldiers appear, they can only travel through places where humans rarely go. If ordinary dead spirits appear in the young world, they'll be destroyed by the laws of the young world. Could it be that the dead spirits that father-in-law is talking about are evil spirits like zombies, corpses, or ghosts? The deep-sea demon emperor replied, No! It's different. Dead spirits are similar to soldiers and netherworld soldiers that have independent thoughts. However, the evil spirits like zombies, corpses, and ghosts that you're talking about don't have complete thoughts. These evil spirits are driven by the remnant evil thoughts in their bodies. They're completely different from dead spirits that have complete thoughts. Lin Feng asked. Father-in-law, are you saying that these dead spirits are similar to Yin soldiers and Netherworld soldiers? But why can these dead spirits stay in the Yang world for so long? I've heard that Yin soldiers and Netherworld soldiers can't stay in the Yang world for too long. If they stay for too long, it'll be difficult for them to return to the Netherworld. At that time, they'll definitely die. Even if they don't die, they'll be guarding corpses and other things like that. The Deep-Sea Demon Emperor said. This is the greatest secret of the Dead Spirit Command Medallion. It's a long story, but have you heard of the world-ending calamity at the end of the immortal ancient era? Lin Feng nodded. I've heard of it. It's said that there was a huge battle that swept through the myriad worlds. Countless races were wiped out, and countless powers were destroyed. However, the historical records of the immortal ancient era have long disappeared. There are only a few words, and we can't pry into the truth of the immortal ancient era. The Deep Demon Emperor said. Many things in the immortal ancient era are mysteries that no one knows of. Some time ago, I went with the 9th Evil Dragon Palace and some strong cultivators of the Purple-Scaled clan to explore a secret territory. After entering it, we discovered that it was left behind by a strong cultivator at the end of the immortal ancient era. In that secret territory, we saw some secrets of the immortal ancient era, including the catastrophe at the end of the immortal ancient era. The Deep-Sea Demon Emperor took a deep breath and calmed himself down before continuing. It's said that the great battle at the end of the immortal ancient era was related to the foreign worlds. The foreign worlds were very ambitious, and they wanted to conquer and enslave all the worlds in this part of the universe, including the 3 supreme worlds, the 6 Tao worlds, the 3,000 great worlds, countless medium worlds, and small worlds. Therefore, when the war broke out, at the critical moment when we were fighting against the otherworldly creatures, there was a huge power in the Universe Alliance that withdrew from the final battle. Therefore, the otherworldly creatures that they were in charge of were left alone. When the war was at its most intense, those otherworldly creatures went behind the Universe Alliance's army. As a result, the Cosmic Alliance's army was attacked from both sides, and they suffered disastrous losses. The Heavenly World, the Primal Chaos World, the Netherworld, the 3,000 Great Worlds, countless medium worlds, and small worlds. Who knows how many experts died in battle? The remaining people are powerless to reverse the situation. They have been trapped by the foreign world's creatures, and the foreign world's creatures are going to refine them to death. Before they died, these experts cursed them with their lives. Those who betrayed the Cosmic Alliance would become undead spirits, unable to reincarnate for all eternity. Until the person with the Necromancer's token found them, the undead spirits would obey the command of the person with the Necromancer's token. Once the person with the Necromancer's token forgave them, the undead spirits would no longer be tortured. They would be able to break the curse, enter the 6th Tao of reincarnation, and reincarnate. Lin Feng was shocked. He hadn't expected there to be such a story. Lin Feng asked, do these undead spirits really exist? Perhaps. Since the Necromancer's token exists, these undead spirits might exist as well, said the Deep-Sea Demon Emperor. Little son-in-law, can you take a look at the Necromancer's token? Asked Lin Feng. Deep-Sea Demon Emperor took out a pitch-black token and handed it to Lin Feng. The front of the token had the word Necromancer written on it. On the other side, there were densely packed skulls drawn on it. Looking at it, one would feel a chill run down one's spine. Deep-Sea Demon Emperor said, the Necromancer's token is a pair of Yin and Yang tokens. This is only one of them. There's another one. It's said that as long as you obtain one of the tokens, you'll be able to sense the whereabouts of the other through the Book of Sacrifice. Lin Feng asked, Father-in-law, are you planning to look for the other Necromancer's token? These cursed undead spirits are too much of a threat. I want to find the other token, find the undead army, and release them so that they can break the curse and enter the Netherworld, said Deep-Sea Demon Emperor. Father-in-law, you truly have the world in your heart. I'm impressed, said Lin Feng. Don't flatter me. As the saying goes, when the nest is overturned, no egg can remain intact. If the 9 provinces were to fall into chaos, the sea region would fall into chaos as well. Countless people would die. Helping the 9 provinces would be helping my own people and loved ones, said Deep Sea Demon Emperor. Asked Lin Feng. When do you plan to leave? Asked Lin Feng. In a few days. I want to offer sacrifices to my ancestors and accompany Jiyuan, Shirley, and the others. Once I leave, I don't know what the future will be like, and I don't know when I'll be able to return. Deep Sea Demon Emperor sighed. Father-in-law, I'm sure everything will go smoothly, said Lin Feng. I hope so. Deep Sea Demon Emperor smiled. He put away the necromancer's token, then patted Lin Feng's shoulder and said, Treat Shirley well in the future. I will. Lin Feng hurriedly said. Deep Sea Demon Emperor nodded and left. Chapter 2046. This was the first time Lin Feng had seen the sea folk's ancestral worship ceremony, and it was very different from the humans. After the ceremony, the Deep Sea Demon Emperor passed the imperial seal to the first prince, Su Jiyuan. Evidently, he was worried that something would happen to him during this trip. If he didn't take care of the matters of the Deep Sea Demon Kingdom, the kingdom would fall into chaos. As such, he passed the imperial seal to Su Jiyuan ahead of time. If the Yuan spirit lamp was extinguished, that meant that the person had already died. At that time, Su Jiyuan would be able to inherit the throne. Of course, Su Jiyuan was a man of great talent and righteousness. If the Deep Sea Demon Emperor passed the throne to him, he would be at ease. It seems that this trip will be very dangerous, Lin Feng muttered to himself. 5 days later, the Deep Sea Demon Emperor left. At night, Lin Feng and Princess Shirley sat on a roof and looked up at the moon. Princess Shirley was nestled in Lin Feng's embrace. The two of them were enjoying this rare moment of peace. Suddenly, Princess Shirley raised her head and looked at Lin Feng. She asked, Since you've been talking with my father for so long, you must know what he's doing, right? Lin Feng nodded. Father-in-law did tell me. Princess Shirley's face instantly reddened, and she spat at Lin Feng. Shameless! Did I say that I'm going to marry you? You have to marry me even if you don't want to. Father-in-law has already betrothed you to me. Lin Feng smiled. Humph! Princess Shirley lightly harumphed. She then said, You're so annoying! It's all your fault for distracting me. You still haven't told me what my father is doing, Lin Feng said. Since father-in-law didn't tell you, it means that he doesn't want you to know. So don't ask anymore. Princess Shirley reached out and pinched Lin Feng's waist, causing Lin Feng to grimace in pain. If you don't tell me, I'll punish you according to the family rules, Princess Shirley threatened. Lin Feng howled. Oh heavens! Oh earth! My cherub Shirley used to be so obedient and lovely. How did she turn into a tigress now? How dare you call me a tigress? Believe it or not, I'll bite you to death. Princess Shirley pounced. The two of them started to fight. Lin Feng stayed in the Deep Sea Demon Kingdom's ancestral land for another 5 days before he decided to leave. Lin Feng had been out for a while and he did not know how things were going in the ancient desolate sea region. So, he decided to go back and take a look. Princess Shirley was naturally very reluctant. Lin Feng originally wanted Princess Shirley to follow him back. But because Princess Shirley had just moved to the ancestral land of the Deep Sea Demon Kingdom, there were too many people that needed to be settled. There were still many things that needed to be done. Therefore, she could not leave at this time. When you're done, come to the ancient desolate sea region to look for me. I'll take good care of you, Lin Feng said with a smile. Princess Shirley's pretty face immediately turned red. Naturally, she knew what Lin Feng meant by take good care of you. She rolled her eyes at Lin Feng flirtatiously. But when she thought that Lin Feng was about to leave, she was very reluctant. In the end, Lin Feng and the dragon-sex cultivator army left on the ancient starship Xianyuan. A month later, Lin Feng returned to the dragon sect. Ever since they had swallowed the Fire Scorpion Island, Evil Flood Dragon Island, and Rosen Island, the dragon sect had become the most powerful force in the ancient Desolate Sea region. Therefore, the dragon sect's development was changing with each passing day. Lin Feng was naturally very happy that the dragon sect's strength had grown. On the second day after Lin Feng returned, he made a trip to the Myriad Star Island. The Myriad Star Island was bustling with activity, as usual. Lin Feng went to the all-knowing pavilion to ask about Senior Duguya and the Soul Master Dao sect. The person in charge of receiving Lin Feng at the all-knowing pavilion surprised Lin Feng. It was actually Yu Lianwei, whom he had met during his first visit to the Myriad Star Island. Lin Gongzi, it's been almost 2 years since we last met. How have you been? Yu Lianwei asked with a smile. She was as charming as ever. Lin Feng nodded and said, Thank you for your concern, Fairy. Everything is fine. However, I didn't expect you to appear at the all-knowing pavilion. Aren't you the vice president of the auction house? Yu Lianwei said. Young master, you might not know this, but the auction house is actually a subordinate force of the all-knowing pavilion. I hold a position in both the all-knowing pavilion and the auction house. Lin Feng nodded. I see. You're a capable person, you're busy. Yu Lianwei smiled and said, I already know why you're here. Previously, you spent a lot of money to ask the all-knowing pavilion to investigate Duguya, and we've already obtained some information. What? Is that true? Lin Feng suddenly stood up and looked at Yu Lianwei in shock. Duguya. The Duguya he had been searching for many years. His father's close friend. And now, there was actually news about him. Lin Feng was extremely excited. Where is he? Lin Feng's voice trembled slightly. Yu Lianwei was extremely shocked. She hadn't expected news about Duguya to cause such a huge stir in Lin Feng's emotions. She said, Around 20 years ago, there was a rumor that a heaven-shaking stone tablet had appeared in the southern Immortal Sea domain. Many experts went to look for it, and Duguya was among them. His origins are mysterious, and he doesn't have many friends in Jiuzhou. Later, I heard that the people who had been looking for the heaven-shaking stone tablet had all disappeared. Disappeared? Disappeared in the southern Immortal Sea domain? Lin Feng frowned slightly. This made him worried. If Duguya had died, wouldn't it be impossible for him to find out where his mother was sealed? That's how it is. However, some time ago, our all-knowing pavilion made many inquiries and obtained some information from an ancient faction. Back then, that faction had sent a few experts to look for the heaven-shaking stone tablet, but in the end, they disappeared without a trace. However, their yuan spirit lamps weren't extinguished, which means that they're still alive. That's why Lin Gongzi doesn't need to worry. The senior Duguya you're looking for should also be alive. Yu Lianwei said. Lin Feng said. He disappeared without a trace for 20 years. Could he be trapped somewhere in the southern Immortal Sea domain? Yu Lianwei nodded and said, That's indeed a possibility. However, many factions have gone to the southern Immortal Sea domain to look for the people who disappeared back then, but they didn't find anything. It's extremely strange. I'll have to trouble the all-knowing pavilion to continue looking for him, said Lin Feng. Yu Lianwei smiled and said, Don't worry, Lin Gongzi. The all-knowing pavilion will definitely do our best for you. Lin Feng continued, Previously, I sent a subordinate to the all-knowing pavilion to sign up for a mission. I wonder how you've been doing. Which mission is it? I'll know as soon as you tell me, said Yu Lianwei with a smile. Chapter 2047. The Dao sect of Soul Masters is a power that disappeared a long time ago, so we can only find a few of their inheritances. Even so, it's still very difficult to find their inheritances because of how long ago they were. I'm afraid that we won't be able to find anything in a short period of time. Lin Gongzi will have to wait for a while, Yu Lianwei said. Lin Feng said, I hope we can find out more about the Dao sect of Soul Masters as soon as possible. No matter how much money we have to spend, we won't hesitate. Don't worry, young master. We'll definitely find out as soon as possible. Yu Lianwei smiled. Thank you, Fairy. I still have some things to take care of, so I'll take my leave first. Lin Feng stood up. Yu Lianwei also stood up and smiled. Will you be free tomorrow night? Lin Feng said. I should be free. Yu Lianwei smiled. How about we meet tomorrow night? Lin Feng smiled. How could I dare to refuse a fairy's invitation? May I know where we'll meet tomorrow? Where will I meet you tomorrow? Lin Feng asked. A carriage will come to pick you up tomorrow. Yu Lianwei smiled. The all-knowing pavilion was well informed, so no matter where Lin Feng lived on Myriad Star Island, they would be able to find out where Lin Feng lived. Therefore, Yu Lianwei didn't ask where Lin Feng lived. Lin Feng obviously knew this as well. He nodded and said, All right, then I'll take my leave. Lin Feng cupped his fist towards Yu Lianwei and left. After leaving the all-knowing pavilion, he headed towards the black market. Lin Feng had come to Myriad Star Island by himself. Firstly, he wanted to take a break and relax. Second, he wanted to go to the black market to buy some immortal iron and godstones. The Dragon Gate had several powerful blacksmiths. The Dragon Gate could already forge their own divine weapons. More and more cultivators were joining the Dragon Gate, so the Dragon Gate needed to buy immortal iron and godstones. Originally, these things were handed over to the subordinates to do. Since he had come to Myriad Stars Island and had nothing to do, he might as well purchase these immortal iron and divine stones. At the same time, he wanted to see if he could find any treasures in the black market. Lin Feng purchased all the immortal iron and divine stones in the black market. Then, he bought a lot of array formation materials. He had consumed a lot of array formation materials in the Deep-Sea Demon Kingdom, and now it was time to replenish them. After buying what he wanted to buy, Lin Feng wandered around the black market aimlessly. Come take a look, take a look! These are all treasures that have just been unearthed! Shouts came from afar. Many people gathered around. A cultivator in his 30s with a very ordinary appearance had set up a stall here. There were all kinds of things piled up on the stall. There were some antiques, some jade talismans, and some tattered weapons. They were probably antiques that had just been dug up from a tomb. This guy is Lu Junzi, the successor of the Grave Commander's lineage. He specializes in digging up other people's ancestral tombs. He doesn't do good things, but he does all bad things. So he's a grave robber. Mountain moving Taoist, Grave Commander, none of them have anything good. Sure, keep your voice down. If that guy hears you, be careful that your ancestral tombs will be dug up. Lin Feng heard some cultivators whispering. This made him slightly surprised. He did not expect that the ordinary-looking cultivator in front of him was actually a grave commander. This was an existence that was at the level of an ancestor of grave robbers. One after another, people went forward to inquire about the price of some items. Lu Junzi naturally asked for a lot. He asked for as much as he could. After the buyer and LV Junzi haggled over the price, the deal would be completed once they reached a satisfactory price. In total, more than 10 items were sold. A cursed doll! Suddenly, the demon lord's voice sounded in Lin Feng's mind. When he heard the word curse, Lin Feng could not help but be shocked. Curses were the most terrifying, mysterious, and evil power in this world. Since ancient times, many experts had been cursed. Fire crows, celestial masters, ice planes coffin carriers, and so on. There were too many people who had been cursed. However, the power of curses was full of mystery in the eyes of many people. This was the case in Lin Feng's eyes as well. In the world of cultivators, everyone's expression changed at the mention of curses. Lin Feng looked at the stall and saw a rag doll in a corner. He could not help but think of something. He sent a voice transmission to the demon lord and asked, Could that rag doll be the cursed doll? That's right. Buy it! The demon lord's words were concise and comprehensive. Lin Feng came to the front of the stall, picked up the rag doll, and said, How much is it? I'll take it. Lu Junzi laughed strangely and said, I advise you to put this thing down. This thing is suitable for evil cultivators, not for you. Lin Feng smiled and said, Thank you for the reminder, but since I've taken a fancy to this thing, I'll definitely buy it. Tell me the price, Lu Junzi said. 100,000 origin crystals. No problem. Lin Feng waved his right hand, and 100,000 origin crystals immediately flew out. These origin crystals were an astronomical figure to other cultivators. However, to Lin Feng, it was nothing. Lu Junzi laughed loudly. Brother, you're a straightforward person. I like dealing with straightforward people like you. I'll give you this exorcism talisman for free. If you encounter anything evil, you can use the exorcism talisman to protect yourself. Lin Feng took the exorcism talisman, then squeezed through the crowd and left. He found an inn to stay in. After entering the room, he impatiently took out the cursed doll. Chapter 2048. Brat, how dare you throw me to the ground? Do you want to be cursed by me? Do you think I won't curse you right now? I'll make you die a horrible death. Suddenly, the cursed doll started talking. Its voice was hoarse and unpleasant to hear. Lin Feng shivered in fear when he heard that voice. The cursed doll was too strange. It could actually speak human language. As expected of a strange doll refined from the Tao of curses. The cursed doll floated in midair. Its eyes looked around and stared at Lin Feng. Swoosh! The demon lord appeared and looked at the cursed doll. He said, As expected, a cursed spirit has formed. How incredible! The cursed doll actually formed a cursed spirit. I'm very curious. What level of expert did you refine this cursed doll? When the cursed doll saw the demon lord, it screamed in fear. Emperor! You are an emperor! How can there be an emperor in this damned 9 prefectures? The cursed doll was too evil. It seemed to have the ability to think. Its eerie eyes stared at the demon lord. However, it soon screamed again. Ha ha! You scared me! So you're just strong on the outside but weak on the inside. Although you still have the aura of an emperor, your physical body has long been destroyed. You don't have the strength of an emperor anymore. Is this a remnant soul? A remnant soul has fused with a portion of the origin energy. Lin Feng muttered. This cursed doll is too evil. It makes me feel very uneasy. Demon Lord, let's work together to get rid of this fellow. I don't want it to cause any more trouble. Hearing that Lin Feng wanted to kill it, the cursed doll cursed. Brat, who do you think you are? How dare you say that you want to kill me? Do you think I won't activate a curse right now and make you unable to reincarnate? Lin Feng sneered. Grandson, how much strength do you have left? How dare you act so arrogantly in front of your grandfather? Do you think I won't burn you to ashes right now? As soon as he finished speaking, Lin Feng summoned 4 types of heavenly fire. Purple Earth Core Fire. Black God Incinerating Fire. Golden Dragon Divine Fire. Netherworld Hellfire. The 4 heavenly fires burned fiercely. Even the void distorted from the heat. The 4 heavenly fires surrounded the cursed doll. Heavenly fire! 4 heavenly fires! Brat, do you think you can deal with me with heavenly fire? You're dreaming! The cursed doll let out an eerie cry, and then the power of the curse began to surge out. If you're going to fight me, I'd like to have a taste of your strength, the demon lord said. The cursed doll, who was clamoring to attack, froze when it heard Yao Jun's words. It smiled embarrassedly and said, I was just joking just now. Don't be so nervous. The cursed doll bullied the weak and feared the strong. It thought it could defeat Lin Feng, so it was extremely arrogant. But when he saw the Yao Lord, he immediately became dispirited. Lin Feng's eyes lit up. If he could really grasp the cursed doll's refining method, he would be able to refine one himself. Then, he could use the cursed doll to deal with whoever he wanted. Once such an evil cursed doll was successfully refined, it would frighten everyone who saw it and frighten even gods. Haha, that's right. Hurry up and hand over the cursed doll's refining method, and I'll spare your life. Otherwise, you'll die a horrible death. Lin Feng laughed. The cursed doll said. I don't know the refining method, the demon lord said indifferently. Do you think we'll believe you? The cursed doll smirked and said, I won't believe you. Since you know you won't believe me, what's the point of saying all this? The demon lord pursed his lips. The cursed doll said, I do know the refining method, but I can't tell you because I'm also a cursed doll that was refined. By chance, I gave birth to my own consciousness, but my body is still the body of a cursed doll. In other words, I'm also cursed. If I tell you the refining method of the cursed doll, the power of the curse will erupt, and my soul will be destroyed in an instant. The demon lord frowned slightly as he pondered over the cursed doll's words. He seemed to be weighing the credibility of the cursed doll's words. Lin Feng's heart skipped a beat. The cursed doll should be very familiar with the power of the curse. Lin Feng thought of the sage's curse and asked, Cursed doll, do you know about the sage's bloodline? The cursed doll nodded. Of course. Who doesn't know about this ancient inheritance? Do you know about the sage's bloodline being cursed? Lin Feng asked. The cursed doll nodded. I've heard about it. Do you know what's cursing the sage's bloodline? Lin Feng continued asking. The cursed doll looked deeply at Lin Feng and said, There are millions of types of curse power, and the number of curse techniques is as endless as the sand grains in the Ganges River. No curse is born out of nowhere. Someone must have used some terrifying curse technique to activate the curse. As far as I know, the curse of the sage's bloodline is related to the netherworld or the ghost realm. The netherworld? The ghost realm? Lin Feng felt his scalp go numb. In this universe, the netherworld was one of the 3 supreme realms. The ghost realm was a world created by the 6 paths of reincarnation. It was mysterious and unfathomable. These 2 places were too terrifying and mysterious. They were places where the dead would go. Is there a way to resolve it? Lin Feng asked. The cursed doll replied, Perhaps, but I'm not sure. Can you see if I'm cursed as well? Lin Feng asked. The cursed doll looked at Lin Feng. Its eyes flickered with an evil light. You! Suddenly, the cursed doll cried out in horror. Lin Feng's heart sank when he saw the cursed doll's reaction. He asked, Am I really cursed? You have 3 types of curse power in your body. The cursed doll cried out. Lin Feng almost spat out a mouthful of blood when he heard the cursed doll's words. 3 types of curse power? That's asking for my life. He asked with a grave expression. Are you telling the truth? Do I really have 3 types of curse power in my body? Even the demon lord couldn't help but frown. The demon lord might have been an emperor in the past and had seen many things, but when it came to the Tao of Curses, he still kept it a secret. Because the Tao of Curses was truly too mysterious, evil, and terrifying. Once they do, they'll be cursed and turned into a creature of the netherworld. Lin Feng recalled the contents of the Heavenly Master lineage's curse. The cursed doll said, That's right. The Heavenly Master lineage's curse does have such a saying, but it's not complete. Once a descendant of the Heavenly Master lineage is cursed, they'll be turned into a creature of the netherworld or a creature of the ghost world. That's why the Heavenly Master lineage's curse is also known as the Nether Ghost Curse. Lin Feng was puzzled. But I've never seen the Heavenly Master lineage's ancestor. Why would I be cursed? You've seen him. You must have. It's just that you don't know. You can try to recall if you've seen him before. The cursed doll said. Lin Feng started recalling. He suddenly recalled the Heavenly Master battle of the 3,000 prefectures. He had entered the place where the Heartless Immortal had died. The Heartless Immortal used to be called Yu Qingxian. Her lover was the 36th Heavenly Master, Chu Maxiu. Later, Chu Maxiu left and never returned. Yu Qingxian thought that Chu Maxiu had abandoned her, so she changed her name to the Heartless Immortal. In the end, she died of depression. Even in death, she never saw Chu Maxiu again. It was a tragic love story. However, Lin Feng later had a dream. In the dream, he saw Chu Maxiu. Chu Maxiu didn't abandon her. He never appeared again because he was taken away by the Nether soldiers. He had been cursed by the Heavenly Master lineage and was powerless to resist. Lin Feng said, I've seen the 36th Heavenly Master in the dream. It's a connection between souls that transcends countless years. Everything you see is real. It's just that it happened countless years ago, but in the end, it appeared in your dreams, said Lin Feng. The cursed doll narrowed its eyes at Lin Feng and said, So, you've seen other Heavenly Masters. Although you only saw them in your dream, you still saw other Heavenly Masters. Damn, seeing them in my dream counts? Lin Feng said gloomily. Of course. Of course it counts. That's why the power of curses is so strange. The cursed doll said. Do you have a way to help me remove the curse from the Heavenly Master lineage? Lin Feng asked. I don't. The Heavenly Master lineage's curse is extremely terrifying, the cursed doll said. Lin Feng's expression kept changing. He continued, You said that even you can't tell what the third curse is. Does that mean that the third curse is even more terrifying? The cursed doll laughed strangely and said, That's right, the third type of curse is even more terrifying. Any one of these three curses is extremely rare in the world, but you have all three of them at the same time. How shocking! Lin Feng sneered. So what if I have three curses on me? Young master's luck is monstrous. I don't believe that I can't break these three curses. The cursed doll pursed its lips. It's good to have confidence, but reality is often cruel. Chapter 2050. The cursed doll's threat was not much of a deterrent. Lin Feng and the Demon Lord both charged at the cursed doll. Lin Feng needed the cultivation method of the Great Curse technique, but the Demon Lord also needed it. If he could successfully cultivate the Great Curse technique, it would greatly improve his cultivation. Most importantly, after cultivating the Great Curse technique, he would be able to comprehend the Tao of curses. When facing all kinds of curses, he would not be helpless. Moreover, the Great Curse technique had a powerful attack power. Through cultivating the Great Curse technique, he might even be able to find a way to remove the curse on himself. Swoosh! Seeing Lin Feng and the Demon Lord closing in, the cursed doll turned and ran. Swoosh! The Demon Lord waved his right hand. Dense runes intertwined and sealed the room. The cursed doll was trapped in the room, unable to escape. You forced me to do this. I'm going to use the Great Curse technique on you. The cursed doll cried out. Oh, the great power of the Great Curse! Bang! Before the cursed doll could finish chanting, Lin Feng had already rushed over and sent the cursed doll flying with a punch. The cursed doll crashed into the Demon Lord's formation and fell to the ground. Ouch, it hurts! The cursed doll wailed. Damn! What's going on? Lin Feng was dumbfounded. The Demon Lord was also dumbfounded. Soon, the two of them understood what was going on. The cursed doll did not have any strength at all. It was just strong on the outside. So it's a fake expert. Tell us, how should we deal with you? Lin Feng grinned, his voice filled with evil intentions. The cursed doll crawled up from the ground and smiled embarrassedly. Great immortals, this is all a misunderstanding. We are all modest gentlemen. As the saying goes, gentlemen use their hands, not their mouths. No, that's not right. As the saying goes, gentlemen use their mouths, not their fists. Lin Feng smiled and said, Let's talk nicely, shall we? Then, just write down the Great Curse art from memory. Lin Feng took out a pen and paper. All right. All right. The cursed doll said with a sad face. When one was under someone else's roof, one had no choice but to lower one's head. The cursed doll began to write down the Great Curse technique's cultivation chant. An hour later, it finished writing. There were about 2,000 words. It filled up a large piece of paper. Yao Lord, can you take a look at this chant? Asked Lin Feng. Yao Jun was once a great emperor. If there was a problem with the incantation, he would be able to tell at a glance. Yao Jun glanced at him, nodded and said, No problem. A smile appeared on Lin Feng's face. This was the Great Curse technique. It was the most evil of the 3,000 great Das. None of the 3,000 great Taos could compare to the Great Curse technique. The Tao of Curses recorded hundreds of millions of curse techniques. However, the Great Curse technique was definitely the most precious of all the curse techniques. This was because the Great Curse technique was directly related to the Tao of Curses. This was something that the other curse techniques could not compare to. How should we deal with this guy? Should we kill him or let him go? Lin Feng looked at the Demon Lord. Let him go! The Demon Lord waved his right hand and removed the formation. Whoosh! The cursed doll hurriedly flew away. It floated in the air, its expression extremely ugly. It could not help but curse in a low voice. I originally wanted to devour that brat's fate, but I didn't expect such a powerful fellow to follow him. How unlucky! Wait until I recover, let's see how I'll deal with the two of you. The cursed doll then soared into the sky and flew into the distance, disappearing in the blink of an eye. Lin Feng gave the Demon Lord a copy of the Great Curse Technique's cultivation method. The Yao Lord then entered the demonic bead and went completely silent. Lin Feng memorized the Great Curse Technique's cultivation method, then burned the paper with the Great Curse Technique's cultivation method to ashes. He sat cross-legged on his bed and silently recited the method, beginning to cultivate the Great Curse Technique. Lin Feng didn't know how much time had passed, but he had entered a mysterious state of mind. Sinner's blood shall be cursed! 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 A sinister voice echoed in Lin Feng's mind, repeating the same words over and over again. Who are you? Lin Feng's subconscious shouted. He wanted to know who had shouted those words. He also wanted to know, why was a powerful bloodline like the Sovereign Emperor's bloodline a sinner's bloodline? The fate of the Heaven Master's bloodline cannot escape the shackles of the curse. You will become one of us sooner or later! Another voice echoed in Lin Feng's mind. It was hazy. Lin Feng saw 36 cultivators standing in the distance. They looked at him. Heaven Master! After seeing the 36 cultivators, Lin Feng was shocked. Those people. They were all the ancestors of the Heaven Master's bloodline. They were the 36 Heaven Masters. What cursed the Heaven Master's bloodline? Lin Feng shouted. The fate of the Heaven Master's bloodline cannot be reversed. We will wait for your arrival. The 36 Heaven Masters did not answer Lin Feng's question. They talked among themselves and then walked deeper into the forest. In his subconscious, Lin Feng chased after the 36 Heaven Masters. But no matter how Lin Feng chased after them, he could not catch up. Suddenly, a pitch-black door appeared. Rumble. The door opened. Behind the door, it was connected to a world of death. It seemed to be the underworld, but it also seemed to be the ghost world. The 36 Heaven Masters entered the world of death. He. At this time, a gloomy voice sounded. Lin Feng was shocked. This was the scene of the third curse. He looked in the direction of the voice and saw a distorted black fog appear. There seemed to be some terrifying creature in the black fog. What's hiding in the black fog? Lin Feng shouted loudly. He. The creature in the black fog did not answer Lin Feng. Instead, it continued to laugh sinisterly. Lin Feng had never heard such a sinister laugh. It was even more terrifying than the voice of a malicious spirit. Suddenly, the black fog swept through the world and enveloped Lin Feng, as if it wanted to devour Lin Feng. Ah! Lin Feng cried out in alarm. He opened his eyes and panted heavily. He woke up from his subconscious in time. His entire body was drenched in cold sweat. The Great Curse Technique allowed me to sense the power of 3 curses. The curse of the bloodline, the curse of the Heaven Master's bloodline, and the curse of the distorted black fog. What exactly is that distorted black fog? What kind of terrifying creature is hidden in the black fog? Lin Feng's expression was uncertain as he pondered. Chapter 2051. The carriage traveled through the streets while Lin Feng sat in the carriage with his eyes closed. This was the carriage sent by Yu Lianwei to bring Lin Feng to the banquet. Lin Feng guessed the purpose of Yu Lianwei inviting him to the banquet. He lacked understanding of Yu Lianwei. This demon-like woman was not simple, and her thoughts were especially deep. Lin Feng always felt that this woman had a purpose for getting close to him. But now, everything was still unknown. The carriage entered a huge mansion. The environment of this mansion was very elegant. There were pavilions, small bridges, flowing water, and flowers. It was beautiful beyond compare. "Young master, we've arrived!" The coachman's respectful voice sounded. Lin Feng got off the carriage. He found that there was already a pretty servant girl wearing light yellow clothes waiting for him. "This servant Yun Zhu greets young master." The servant girl bowed to Lin Feng. Lin Feng nodded and said, "No need to be so courteous. Bring me to see Fairy Lianwei." "Young master, please follow this servant," the servant girl said as she led the way. After passing through a small bridge, a huge pond appeared in front of them. There was a pavilion in the middle of the pond. There was a small wooden bridge that led to the pavilion. The servant girl said, "Young master, my family's young miss is waiting for you in the pavilion." This servant girl had obviously received an order in advance, and could only send him here. Lin Feng nodded and walked towards the pavilion. In the pavilion, a beautiful woman in a long white dress was dancing. She was like a fairy that had fallen from the 9 heavens immortal world to the mortal world. Her dance was graceful and moving, causing people to exclaim in admiration. The woman who was dancing like a butterfly was none other than Yu Lianwei. Lin Feng quietly admired Yu Lianwei's beautiful dance. After the dance ended, Lin Feng walked towards the pavilion. He clapped his hands and said with a smile, "Fairies' dance is really beautiful and moving. Even if the fairies of the 9 heavens immortal world saw it, they would feel ashamed of their inferiority." Yu Lianwei smiled and said, "Sir, you're overpraising me. Lianwei just made a fool of herself, and I'm afraid I've disgraced your eyes. Such a beautiful person, such a beautiful dance. To be able to see it is the blessing of 3 lifetimes. How could it be an insult to my eyes?" Lin Feng said with a smile. "If young master likes to watch, I can often dance for young master in the future," Yu Lianwei said as she blinked her eyes. These words were too bold and direct, a bit like a disguised confession. However, Lin Feng knew that Yu Lianwei was a woman with deep thoughts, so he didn't really think that Yu Lianwei was confessing to him. Everything she did, she often had her own motives. Lin Feng smiled and said, "Unfortunately, there are too many things to do. I don't have enough free time like this. I'm afraid I'll have to disappoint you." Yu Lianwei smiled and said, "Lianwei naturally understands that men aspire to travel far and wide. It's rare to see someone like young master, who has already accomplished so much at such a young age. In the future, young master will definitely be able to dominate the world." Yu Lianwei's words were quite straightforward. Lin Feng had established the Dragon's Gate. With the all-knowing pavilion's abilities, they must have already known about this. Therefore, Yu Lianwei knew that Lin Feng was the leader of the Dragon's Gate, so he wouldn't be surprised. The reason why Yu Lianwei had said those words just now was because she was implying something. "Thank you for your kind words." Lin Feng cupped his fists and said, "News is very important no matter what I do. In the future, I will have to rely on you for many things," Lin Feng said as he took out a white jade box and pushed it towards Yu Lianwei. He smiled and said, "This is a small gift for you." Yu Lianwei didn't look at it, nor did she accept it. She smiled and said, "Lianwei will naturally help young master with all my heart. As for this gift, young master can take it back for now." "Is it not to your liking?" Lin Feng asked. "Although I haven't seen what it is, young master has always been generous, so I don't need to see it to know that it is extraordinary." Yu Lianwei stood up and walked to Lin Feng's side. She reached out and caressed Lin Feng's face. "Young master must be suspicious of Lianwei's motive for approaching you. You must think that Lianwei has some other intentions. You don't need to worry about that." Lianwei approached young master out of curiosity, and when she gradually got to know young master better, she fell deeply in love with him and couldn't extricate herself. Therefore, Lianwei wants to help young master establish a career. Lin Feng smiled and said, Thank you for your kind intentions, but I don't know what I have done to deserve your admiration. Yu Lianwei stared at Lin Feng's handsome face and said, Many things are like poison. Once poisoned, you can't extricate yourself. Lianwei truly wants to help young master. Time will prove everything. Late at night, Lin Feng left Yu Lianwei's residence. The next day, he left Myriad Stars Island. Lin Feng didn't know how much of Yu Lianwei's words could be trusted. But it was just as Yu Lianwei had said. Time would prove everything. After returning to Dragon Gate Island, Lin Feng had been bitterly cultivating the great curse art. It wasn't easy to cultivate this divine ability. Monkey Shio, who had been in seclusion for almost a year, came out. The first thing he did after coming out was ask the kitchen to prepare wine and meat for him. He then sat down with Lin Feng to eat and drink. The two didn't sleep the entire night and drank until dawn. They also chatted a lot. When the sun rose from the horizon, Monkey Shio stood up and said, I have to go. Master said that reading 10,000 books is like walking 10,000 miles. The more you walk, the more you see, the more you comprehend, and the more you think, you can become a Buddha. Ishio wanted to leave. Lin Feng didn't want him to leave, but he didn't stop him. Monkey Shio had his own Tao, and he had his own path to walk. On the long road of life, parents, lovers, relatives, children, and friends wouldn't always be by your side. There would be a day when they would have to part. Lin Feng was naturally aware of this. He had experienced too many separations. Next time we meet, I'll make you drunk, Lin Feng said with a smile. Let's see who will be the one getting drunk then, Monkey Shio said with a smile. On this late autumn morning, Lin Feng sent his close friend Monkey Shio off and watched him leave. Time passed very quickly. Winter arrived, and snow fell. The entire Dragon Gate Island was covered in snow. It was a vast expanse of white, and it was very beautiful. Bibi and the dragon rabbit were playing in the snow. The two little fellows seemed to have no worries. Time really flies, Lin Feng sighed as he looked at the vast expanse of white in the distance. Lin Feng seemed to see the shadow of himself when he was 16. Over the years, he had experienced too many people and too many things. There were also too many passers-by in his life. That night, a voice came from outside. I'm visiting late at night. Do you welcome me? Chapter 2052. Empress? Lin Feng was shocked when he heard the voice. It was the Empress's voice. He opened the door. The heavy snow outside illuminated the surrounding world very brightly. The Empress was wearing a snow-white mink fur coat, which wrapped around her graceful and delicate body. Every time he saw the Empress, he felt a sense of amazement. I didn't expect you to come at this time. It's freezing outside, so come in. Lin Feng smiled. He had known the Empress for many years, and they had gone through life and death together. Therefore, they were quite casual when interacting with each other, and there weren't many rules. The Empress entered Lin Feng's room and teased. What's wrong? Didn't you find a few beautiful women to serve you? Said Lin Feng, smiling. I saved a seat for you, didn't I? The Empress smiled and asked. Am I beautiful? Lin Feng quickly averted his gaze. The Empress was naturally charming, and he couldn't fall for her tricks. Looks like you have your fears too, the Empress said with a smile. She took off her mink coat and hung it on the clothes rack at the door. Then she sat in front of the table where the spirit tea was boiling. Lin Feng smiled and said, There's a saying that men are afraid of women. The deeper the fear, the deeper the love. Leave these sweet words for other women. I won't fall for them. The Empress snorted. Lin Feng poured a cup of spirit tea for the Empress. She picked it up and took a sip elegantly. Looks like you know how to enjoy life. This is Tao spirit tea, right? I heard that it can help cultivators comprehend the Tao. A single leaf is worth 1,000,000 origin crystals. You've spent hundreds of millions of origin crystals on this pot of tea, the Empress said. Life is short, so you should enjoy yourself when you need to. I still have some left. I can wrap them up for you later. Lin Feng smiled. You can keep it for yourself. There's no need to give it to me. The Empress put down the teacup gracefully. Lin Feng said, It seems like you've found the thing you're looking for? The Empress nodded and replied, Indeed, I found it. However, that place is covered with restrictions, so I need your help. That won't be a problem. How about we leave tomorrow? Lin Feng said. All right. The Empress nodded slightly. Then, she got up and walked into the inner room. I'm tired, I'm going to sleep. The Empress stretched lazily. Lin Feng followed him into the inner bedroom. What are you doing here? The Empress asked. How about my room? Lin Feng said. Go out and sleep on the floor. The Empress snorted. Lin Feng smiled and said, Why don't we just put up with it? Let's squeeze in for the whole night. Bang! The next moment, Lin Feng was thrown out by the Empress. The Empress closed the door, snorted, and said threateningly, You're not allowed to come in at night. Otherwise, I'll beat you until you're looking for your teeth all over the floor. Big sister, this is my place. Lin Feng wailed. It's mine now, the Empress said. A good man doesn't fight with a woman. I'll let you have it. Lin Feng pursed his lips. The next day, Lin Feng explained some things about the Dragon Gate and left with the Empress. They headed to the Southern Immortal Sea Domain. Senior Duguya went missing in the Southern Immortal Sea Domain. Lin Feng couldn't help but mutter to himself. He had been thinking about this matter all this time. He could only find clues about his mother's whereabouts from Duguya. Therefore, nothing must happen to Duguya. Lin Feng prayed in his heart. The pirate ship of the gods quickly sailed through the Southern Immortal Sea Domain. This ancient ship had a great history. Only Lin Feng and the Empress were on it. I heard that this ancient ship was built in the primordial era. I wonder if the rumors are true? Lin Feng couldn't help but ask. When he was in the Tianwu continent, he had heard many things about the Godhead pirate ship. Therefore, he had always been curious about the Godhead pirate ship. It's not from the primordial era, but from an even older era. As for which era it was built in, I'm not particularly sure, the Empress said. Why is it rumored to be one of the 10 great ancient ships of the primordial era? Lin Feng asked curiously. That's because this ancient ship was sealed a long, long time ago. It wasn't until someone in the primordial era discovered this ancient ship that it was reborn. This is also why the rumors say that this ancient ship was built in the primordial era. As time passed, this ancient ship had many different owners. In the end, it fell into my hands, the Empress said. Lin Feng nodded. 1.5 months later, the Godhead pirate ship arrived at the Southern Immortal Sea Domain. The factions in the Southern Immortal Sea Domain were even more complicated. There were many ancient islands in the sea. Some of these islands were incomparably powerful. Even the 10 great immortal sects wouldn't rashly provoke them. Roar! As they passed by a huge island, Lin Feng heard an earth-shaking roar. He couldn't help but look at the island. He saw a giant golden ape that was about 3,000 meters tall. Its hands were clenched into fists, pounding its chest as it roared at the sky. The golden ape race is a race that disappeared from the Tianwu continent a long time ago. Lin Feng was shocked. The Southern Immortal Sea Domain has many races that have disappeared from the outside world. There are always many miracles in the sea, said Lin Feng. 10 days later, loud rumbling sounds could be heard. Huge waves could be seen on the surface of the sea. In the distance, huge pirate ships could be seen sailing over. There were a total of 100 pirate ships, surrounding the area so tightly that not even a drop of water could trickle through. It seems like you've run into some trouble. Lin Feng narrowed his eyes. It really is troublesome. The Empress frowned slightly. The surrounding pirate ships parted, and a huge pirate ship sailed over. Who is that? Lin Feng asked. The Pirate King of the Southern Immortal Sea Domain, True Lord Heavenly Eye, said the Empress. True Lord Heavenly Eye? An expert from the Heavenly Eye race? Lin Feng couldn't help but ask. He thought of that ancient and mysterious race. According to the legends, there was an ancient war god on the investiture of the gods. That war god was an expert from the heavenly eye race, and his strength was abnormally terrifying. That's right, he's from the heavenly eye race, said the Empress. At that moment, the huge pirate ship came to a stop. There were many islands on the ship, and many of them were coldly looking at Lin Feng and the Empress. A cold voice came from the huge pirate ship. Empress! I haven't killed you time and time again. Do you really think I have a good temper? My patience is limited. Will you agree to become my 99th concubine? Give me a definite answer today. If you agree, I will gather experts from all over the world to attend our wedding. It will be a grand affair, and you won't be wrong. If you don't agree, then I'll have to use force. Although they all had 3 eyes. However, it was relatively easy to distinguish between the 3-eyed race and the sky-eye race. Usually, all 3 eyes of the 3-eyed race would open. The 3rd eye on the forehead of the heavenly eye race was closed. It would only be activated during a great battle. To think that you have 3 eyes. You're practically blind. The Empress is my woman. Since when did she become your woman? Lin Feng curled his lips and looked at True Lord Heavenly Eye provocatively. As the pirate king of the southern Immortal Sea region, True Lord Heavenly Eye was naturally very powerful. But so what? I'm just being arrogant in front of you. What can you do to me? Hearing Lin Feng mocking him for being blind, True Lord Heavenly Eye's eyes flashed with murderous intent. He looked coldly at Lin Feng and said in a sinister voice, Anyone who offends me will die a horrible death. You will be the next one to die a horrible death. Empress, let me ask you one last time. Will you submit to me? Or do you want me to suppress you? The Empress did not say anything because Lin Feng had said that he would take care of everything. The Empress had never felt so relaxed before. Lin Feng laughed out loud and pulled the Empress into his embrace. The Empress also became a little woman who had fallen in love and snuggled into Lin Feng's embrace. Seeing Lin Feng and the Empress flaunting their affection in front of him, True Lord Heavenly Eye was furious. True Lord Heavenly Eye was about to explode from anger. Courting death! Courting death! Courting death! He roared angrily, and his 3rd eye suddenly opened. Swoosh! A terrifying beam of light shot out towards Lin Feng. The furious True Lord Heavenly Eye could no longer tolerate it, and attacked Lin Feng. Buzz! The defensive restriction of the deity's pirate ship rose. When True Lord Heavenly Eye's attack came, it landed on the restriction of the deity's pirate ship. Following which, a clang sound was heard. True Monarch Heavenly Eye's attack was immediately blocked. Why? Were they envious, jealous, and hateful? No matter what, you are the pirate king of the southern Immortal Sea domain. Is that all you have? You have to be magnanimous. How can you accomplish great things with such magnanimity? Lin Feng curled his lips. Pfft. The Empress suddenly laughed. Lin Feng actually started to criticize True Lord Heavenly Eye, which made the Empress unable to hold back her laughter. True Lord Heavenly Eye's face became increasingly gloomy. Lin Feng continued, True Lord Heavenly Eye, you have also seen that the Empress and I are now inseparable. If you don't want to die, leave quickly. When the Empress and I get married, we might even send you an invitation. Just as Lin Feng finished speaking, he felt a sharp pain on his waist. The Empress's jade hands were grabbing onto Lin Feng's waist and twisting it. Lin Feng laughed bitterly. Would any woman, no matter how powerful, know this move? My Empress, I am helping you, okay? How can you treat me like this? Lin Feng could not help but wail in his heart. This kid is too arrogant. He is simply courting death. He actually dares to be so arrogant in front of the king. In this world, no one can save this kid's life. This Empress is also ignorant of the current situation. Our king is wise and powerful. He is the ideal husband in many women's hearts. This Empress did not choose our king but chose this gigolo instead. Her taste is too bad. Just wait and see. The king's fury is about to descend. That kid will definitely die without a burial ground. Many pirates began to whisper among themselves. Anyone who dared to anger true Lord Heavenly I would not have a good ending. In their eyes, Lin Feng was naturally the same. True monarch Tian Yan's eyes flickered with dense killing intent. He grinned and said, "Boy, killing you now won't be able to quell the anger in my heart. After I capture you, I'll torture you ruthlessly. At that time, I'll make you kneel before me like a dog and beg me to spare your dog life." Chapter 2054. Rumble. One by one, the pirate ships emitted powerful energy waves, and the furious true monarch Heavenly Eye immediately gave the order to attack. Now, he only wanted to capture Lin Feng. Then, he wanted to torture Lin Feng. "Ha ha, wife, activate the god's pirate ship and get rid of them," Lin Feng said with a smile. Said the Empress, pinching Lin Feng's waist. Then, she glanced at Lin Feng flirtatiously. There was a hint of threat in her eyes. It was as if she was saying, "Don't shout. Otherwise, I'll beat you up." The Empress was a considerate woman and had given Lin Feng enough face. She did not refute Lin Feng. After leaving Lin Feng's embrace, she began to activate the god's pirate ship. Many powerful restrictions on the god's pirate ship were activated by the Empress. This god's pirate ship had a great origin and was extraordinarily powerful. Lin Feng also wanted to see how powerful the god's pirate ship could be. Compared to his Xianyuan ancient starship, who was stronger and who was weaker? "Fire the cannons!" True Lord Tianyan's cold voice sounded. Boom, boom, boom! One by one, the pirate ships fired a dense barrage of spirit stone cannons. Those spiritual stone cannonballs fell down like raindrops. The power was too strong. It was simply earth-shattering, causing the mountains and rivers to lose their color and the sun and moon to lose their light. The glory of the gods illuminates the world. The protection of the gods is eternal. The Empress walked lightly on the god's pirate ship. Ancient incantations resounded one after another. The faint voice sounded as if it came from ancient times. As soon as he finished speaking, a huge energy shield appeared and protected the god's pirate ship within it. That huge energy shield was blessed with the glory of the gods. Bang, bang, bang! When the dense rain of spirit stone shells came crashing down, all of the attacks were blocked by the guardian of the god's light shield. The Empress didn't stop. She continued to move forward on the god's pirate ship. Even after millions and millions of years, the will of the gods still hasn't been extinguished. The will of the gods is still burning like fire. The spirits of the gods will descend to punish these lowly creatures who have blasphemed the gods. As the second incantation fell, in an instant, above the god's pirate ship, a mysterious world appeared. Within that world, there were phantoms of gods. This was summoning the phantoms of the gods to fight against the enemy. Lin Feng saw the mighty spirit god, the great strength devil god, the thousand-eyed ancient god, the two-winged ancient god, the nine-headed devil god, the sun-moon spirit god, and many others. Various deities appeared and began to charge toward the pirate ships. Bang! 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 One after another, the pirate ships were destroyed by the attacks of the gods' phantoms. That terrifying power caused everyone to be shocked and moved. The attacking methods of the deities' pirate ship were different from ordinary ancient ships of war. The deities' pirate ship summoned the phantom of the deities. Ordinary ancient war ships had spirit stone cannons. Lin Feng's Xianyuan ancient ship had two attacking methods. The first was the spirit stone cannon attack. The second was the Emperor Rune attack. The first was easier to control. The second was the Emperor Rune attack. It was very difficult to control because the Emperor runes were created by the great emperors. Without entering the great emperor realm, it was too difficult to control the various emperor runes. Previously, Lin Feng had been able to control great imperial marks because he had been lucky. Of course, Lin Feng had obtained the Xianyuan ancient ship for many years. He knew it very well. Although he hadn't mastered the emperor runes on the Xianyuan ancient ship for the time being, mastering and activating them were two different concepts. Mastering meant that Lin Feng could also arrange the Emperor runes. However, he didn't need to master the runes to activate them. However, the consumption of the Emperor runes was too great. Lin Feng rarely activated the Emperor runes on the Xianyuan ancient ship. Because ordinary ancient warships could be destroyed by the spirit stone cannons. As the saying went, why use a butcher's knife to kill a chicken? This was the logic. Kacha, kacha, kacha. The pirate ships were destroyed one after another. The pirates on the pirate ships cried and screamed as they tried to escape. However, many of them couldn't escape and were killed by the gods' phantoms. The battle became more and more intense. Seeing how powerful the gods' pirate ship was, True Monarch Sky Eye's face sank. Crash over for me! True Monarch Sky Eye shouted. Rumble. The giant pirate ship he was on immediately moved and charged towards the gods' pirate ship. Boom! The gods' phantoms attacked the giant pirate ship. True Monarch Sky Eye's giant pirate ship was also an extremely powerful ancient ship. When the attacks of the gods' phantoms arrived, the ghost chi inside the giant pirate ship soared to the sky. An endless amount of ghost chi permeated out, and within the ghost chi, a magnificent army was formed. The magnificent army formed by the giant pirate ship was made up of ghost soldiers and ghost generals. Their roars shook the sky as they charged towards the gods' phantoms. The two sides collided and were locked in a fierce battle. However, the giant pirate ship had already rammed over. A loud clanging sound was heard. The gods' pirate ship was sent flying. Ha ha ha, my Ghost Realm ship is a treasure forged by the Ghost Realm. Even if it can't destroy your deity pirate ship, it's not a problem to suppress your deity pirate ship. Empress, you're destined to be unable to resist me. As for that human brat, you are destined to kneel before me like a dog. True Monarch Sky laughed proudly. Rumble. 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 The demon ghost ship once again rammed towards the god's pirate ship. The Empress looked at Lin Feng and said with a smile, Husband, you should make a move as well. The way she called him husband made his bones go soft. Lin Feng smiled and said, Then let's combine our ships and destroy his demon ghost ship. Lin Feng flew out and took out the Xianyuan ancient ship. Emperor's runes! Activate! After entering the ancient ship, Lin Feng began to activate the Emperor's runes. The Xianyuan ancient ship had an Emperor's rune grand array that contained 37,520,000 Emperor's runes. But Lin Feng could only use 10 great imperial marks, and even then, he could only use 10 great imperial marks. However, even with 10 Emperor's runes, the Xianyuan ancient ship's combat power was still terrifying. After the Emperor's runes were activated, the Emperor's runes turned into chains of order and swept towards the demon ghost ship. Boom, boom, boom! At the same time, the Xianyuan ancient ship's spirit stone cannons fired a dense number of spirit stone cannons. All of them bombarded the demon ghost ship. Bang, bang, bang. The combination of the Emperor's runes and the spirit stone cannons caused a huge lethality. The demon ghost ship's restrictions were destroyed. The cannons landed on the demon ghost ship. The cannons exploded. Miserable cries could be heard as many pirates were blasted to death. Chapter 2055. Swoosh! The chains of order formed by the Emperor runes twisted in the void. One after another, they swept toward the Ghost Domain pirate ship. Such power was truly terrifying to the extreme. Crack! Crack! The Ghost Domain pirate ship's hull was damaged. Lin Feng used the Dart runes to attack the Ghost Domain pirate ship's hull and used the Spirit Stone cannon to attack the pirates on the ship. Their cooperation was flawless. It seemed like they were determined to destroy the Ghost Domain pirate ship. Husband, you're so powerful! The Empress said with a smile. True Monarch Heavenly, I was about to explode from anger. Firstly, he was extremely jealous of Lin Feng and the Empress's frequent public displays of affection. The second reason was that his Ghost Domain pirate ship had been damaged, which made him even angrier. Xianyuan ancient starry sky ship. No wonder it's so powerful. It's actually this ancient ship that was built by great Emperor Xianyuan. Kid, I'm going to kill you and snatch your Xianyuan ancient starry sky ship. True monarch heavenly, I roared. This guy was very knowledgeable. He recognized Lin Feng's ancient starry sky ship at a glance. It was the legendary Xianyuan ancient starry sky ship. What a coincidence! I'm also very interested in snatching your ghost domain pirate ship. Lin Feng grinned. This ghost domain pirate ship should be on the same level as the Empress's God's pirate ship. It was slightly inferior to his Xianyuan ancient starry sky ship. However, there was only a slight difference at most. If it was a one-on-one battle, Lin Feng's Xianyuan ancient starry sky ship would have a hard time suppressing the ghost domain pirate ship. The reason why he could successfully suppress the ghost domain pirate ship was that the Empress's God's pirate ship was holding the ghost domain pirate ship back. As such, Lin Feng seized this once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to destroy the ghost domain pirate ship's defensive restriction in one fell swoop. This was how he managed to suppress Guyu City. Swoosh! The monarch runes twisted as they bombarded the ghost domain pirate ship again and again. Crack! Crack! The ghost domain pirate ship was constantly being destroyed. However, this pirate ship was very strange. Lin Feng discovered that the ghost domain pirate ship actually had the ability to self-repair. The damaged parts were quickly recovering. Sure enough, it was a treasure created by the creatures of the ghost realm. It was simply too extraordinary. Boom, boom, boom. Spirit stone cannonballs continued to land on the ghost domain pirate ship. Mournful screams rang out incessantly as more and more pirates were blasted to death. Fire the spirit stone cannons! True Lord Heavenly, I roared. The ghost domain pirate ship also began firing spirit stone cannons. A dense barrage of spirit stone shells shot towards Lin Feng's Xianyuan ancient starry sky ship. At the same time, the black fog above the ghost domain pirate ship rolled. Evil spirits were formed in the black fog. They rushed towards the ancient ship's emperor's runes and engaged in a fierce battle with them. The defensive restrictions of the ghost domain pirate ship also repaired themselves, quickly forming a defensive light barrier. Woo woo woo! The sound of a bugle horn resounded. The rest of the pirate ships started to surround them and bombarded them with spirit stone cannonballs. The spirit stone cannonballs smashed onto the defensive restrictions of the Xianyuan ancient starry sky ship and the deity pirate ship, causing violent collisions. With so many spirit stone cannonballs bombarding them, the defensive restrictions of the Xianyuan ancient starry sky ship and the deity pirate ship would be destroyed sooner or later. Humph! At this moment, the Empress snorted coldly. The front of the third floor of the deity pirate ship opened, revealing a cannon with a diameter of over 100 meters. Then, a huge spirit stone cannon protruded from the muzzle of the cannon. It was a spirit stone cannon. It had a diameter of about 100 meters. Damn, is that a cannon? Lin Feng was dumbfounded when he saw the huge spirit stone cannon on the deity pirate ship. It was a spirit stone cannon. It was too big. True Lord Heavenly Eye, I've already modified this deity pirate ship. I obtained this huge spirit stone cannon from a secret place 10 years ago. I spent a lot of effort to install it on my deity pirate ship. Today, I'll show you the power of this huge spirit stone cannon. Fire! Boom, boom, boom. As the Empress's voice faded, the huge spirit stone cannonballs began to fire. When the huge spirit stone cannon fired, the densely packed runes on the huge spirit stone cannon seemed to have awakened and began to distort. Those runes contained a power that could destroy heaven and earth. The power of the spirit stone cannon was related to the materials used and the forging process. However, these were not the main factors. The most important factor to determine the power of the spirit stone cannon was the runes on the surface of the spirit stone cannon. The spirit stone cannon obtained by the Empress was not only huge, but the runes on it were also top-notch and incomparably complicated. Therefore, the might of this huge spirit stone cannon was unimaginably terrifying. Bang, 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 one after another, the cannonballs smashed on the Ghost Domain pirate ship's defensive restrictions. Soon, the Ghost Domain pirate ship's defensive restrictions were completely destroyed. Soon after, the Spirit Stone cannonballs landed on the Ghost Domain pirate ship. Countless islands were blown up. The Ghost Domain pirate ship also suffered serious damage. Charred! Seeing this scene, Lin Feng's spirit was shaken. He urged the Xianyuan Ancient Starry Sky ship to crash into the Ghost Domain pirate ship. Bang! A loud sound shook the sky. Crack, crack! Without the protection of the restrictions, the Ghost Domain pirate ship was almost smashed in half by Lin Feng's Xianyuan Ancient Starry Sky ship. Damn it! You adulterous pair! You destroyed my Ghost Domain pirate ship! True Monarch Heavenly Eye's roar shook the sky. He couldn't wait to cut Lin Feng and the Empress into pieces. Go! Suddenly, the Ghost Domain pirate ship leaped into the void and instantly traversed more than 10 miles. Damn, it's about to be smashed in half, but it can still jump into the void. Lin Feng couldn't help but roll his eyes. Chase! The Empress shouted and drove the god's pirate ship to chase after the escaping Ghost Domain pirate ship. Lin Feng drove the Xianyuan Ancient Starry Sky ship to chase after the Ghost Domain pirate ship. Stop them! True Monarch Heavenly Eye roared in the distance. Hundreds of pirate ships began to besiege the god's pirate ship and the Xianyuan Ancient Starry Sky ship. Bang, bang, bang! The giant Spirit Stone cannon on the god's pirate ship fired Spirit Stone cannonballs one after another. Only one Spirit Stone cannonball was needed. The ordinary pirate ships were completely destroyed. Lin Feng directly urged the Xianyuan Ancient Starry Sky ship to ram into the pirate ships blocking their way. Bang, bang, bang! The Xianyuan Ancient Starry Sky ship crashed into the pirate ships one after another. When the pirates on the other pirate ships saw how terrifying the two ancient ships controlled by Lin Feng and the Empress were, they were scared out of their wits. They even ignored True Monarch Heavenly Eye's orders and fled in all directions. Lin Feng and the Empress also ignored the ordinary pirate ships. The two of them drove the Xianyuan Ancient Starry Sky ship and the god's pirate ship respectively to chase after the escaping Ghost Domain pirate ship. Chapter 2056. True Monarch Heavenly Eye, don't run. If you have the guts, stop and fight me one-on-one. Lin Feng shouted loudly. True Monarch Heavenly Eye's face turned gloomy as he cursed. Brat, do you think I'm stupid? If I stop, I'll definitely be attacked by you guys. Just you wait, once I recover my strength, I'll definitely tear you two into pieces. Hee, True Monarch Heavenly Eye. We don't intend to give you the chance to recover. The Empress laughed. Lin Feng shouted. Did you hear that? My wife said that she doesn't intend to give you the chance to recover. The two of us will work together to tear you into pieces and snatch your Ghost Domain pirate ship. True Monarch Heavenly Eye was depressed. Although he wanted to fight Lin Feng to the death, he knew that he couldn't be impulsive. The Ghost Domain pirate ship's speed was extremely fast. In the process of escaping, the Ghost Domain pirate ship had finished repairing itself. The hull that was almost broken by Lin Feng's Xianyuan Ancient Starry Sky ship had also recovered. The ancient ship's self-repairing ability was very strong. It was much stronger than Lin Feng's Xianyuan Ancient Starry Sky ship. This made Lin Feng very envious. This might be related to the fact that the Ghost Domain pirate ship was created by the Ghost Domain. It wasn't easy to catch up to the Ghost Domain pirate ship. The Xianyuan Ancient Starry Sky ship and the God's pirate ship chased for 10 days and 10 nights, but they still couldn't catch up to the Ghost Domain pirate ship. However, the pursuit of True Monarch Heavenly Eye had caused quite a stir in the Southern Immortal Sea Domain. True Monarch Heavenly Eye was the pirate king of the Southern Immortal Sea Domain. Many of the top forces in the Southern Immortal Sea Domain had to give him face. True Monarch Heavenly Eye's strength was also very strong. However, he was actually being chased by someone and had to flee. This was too inconceivable. When this matter first spread out, no one believed it. Thus, many people went to the southern Immortal Sea domain to verify the authenticity of this rumor. When these cultivators arrived at the sea, they really saw the escaping Ghost Domain pirate ship. Only when two ancient ships chased after the Ghost Domain pirate ship did everyone believe the rumor. Who is chasing after True Monarch Heavenly Eye? Many people were puzzled. True Monarch Heavenly Eye was an overlord-class existence. He controlled over 100 pirate ships and had countless experts under him. How could he be pursued all over the world? Wasn't this too unbelievable? However, everything that was happening before their eyes was real. They had no choice but to believe it. That's the Empress's pirates of the gods, someone said, recognizing the deity's pirate ship. Empress? The Empress of the Sea? That woman who suddenly appeared. It is said that just one look at her is enough to make her an unforgettable beauty. There has never been a woman as beautiful as the Empress. That's right. The Empress is so charming and peerless. I was fortunate enough to see the Empress once, and it was unforgettable. Even the fairies of the heavenly palace paled in comparison to the Empress. Who does the other ancient ship belong to? I don't know. Many people were talking about it. At this moment, everyone suddenly heard a shout coming from the Xianyuan Starry Sky ancient ship. True Monarch Heavenly Eye, you are blind. If you are a man, then stop and fight me openly. Damn, you are really not a man. Coward, you only know how to run, you deformed fellow. I can crush you with one hand. If you don't believe me, let's try it. Bah, with a trash like you, I don't even need to use my hands. I can drown you with my saliva. Hearing the shouting from the Xianyuan Starry Sky ancient ship, many people smiled bitterly. Who is this guy? He actually humiliated True Monarch Heavenly Eye. If it was in the past, no one would believe it. But now they saw it with their own eyes. True Monarch Heavenly Eye flew into a rage, but no matter how angry he was, he could not stop at this moment. He could only pretend that he did not hear Lin Feng's shouting. True Monarch Heavenly Eye was very familiar with the southern Immortal Ocean domain. He lured Lin Feng and the Empress to a dangerous place and made use of the terrain to escape. This made Lin Feng rather depressed. After Lin Feng and the Empress drove the ancient ship out of the dangerous place, they could no longer find True Monarch Heavenly Eye. Lin Feng kept the Xianyuan Starry Sky ancient ship and returned to the Empress deity pirate ship. Lin Feng muttered as he looked at the huge spirit stone cannon on the deity pirate ship. He escaped. Count himself lucky. His saliva nearly flowed out of his mouth. This spirit stone cannon was simply too powerful. Lin Feng had a very deep impression of this spirit stone cannon. Wife, where did you get this spirit stone cannon? Take me there. I want to see if there's another spirit stone cannon like this in that place. Lin Feng said. The Empress snorted and said, Don't call me wife again. Otherwise, I will beat you up. She waved her fist and looked at Lin Feng threateningly. Lin Feng said, Wife, are you going to turn against me? I was helping you just now. Humph. You can't continue calling me wife. The Empress snorted twice. As if she was afraid that Lin Feng would be unhappy, the Empress said, Didn't you want this spirit stone cannon? Back then, I obtained 2 of these spirit stone cannons. I only installed one on the deity pirate ship, so I will give the other one to you. Wow! Really? That's great. Thank you, wife. Indeed, you treat me the best. Lin Feng shouted excitedly when he heard the Empress' words. He had wanted to hug her and celebrate. However, when he saw the Empress' threatening gaze, he smiled awkwardly and cancelled his plan. Let's not delay any longer. Let's find an island to stop at and help me modify the ancient ship, Lin Feng said impatiently. The Empress nodded and said, Modifying the ancient ship is more troublesome. Not only do we have to modify some of the ship's structure, but we also have to change some of the ship's formations. Fortunately, I have some experience. If the 2 of us work together, it should be faster. Lin Feng and the Empress worked together and found an island to stop at. Then, they started modifying the Xianyuan ancient ship. Although the Empress already had experience in modifying ancient ships, the process was still not fast. Lin Feng and the Empress tried many methods in order to modify the ship to accommodate the Spirit Stone cannon. The main reason it was difficult to modify was because the formations on the ancient ship were too complicated. Modifying the ancient ship required the relocation of the formations, which was more troublesome. Fortunately, Lin Feng and the Empress were not ordinary people. The two of them worked together, and after half a month, they finally finished modifying Lin Feng's Xianyuan ancient ship. Chapter 2057. Boom! 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 The giant spirit stone cannon fired 3 shells in a row. The 3 cannonballs landed on 3 different islands. Bang! 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 The 3 islands were instantly blasted into smithereens. The giant spirit stone cannon was simply too powerful. Ha ha! This power is truly terrifying. It's much more powerful than I imagined. Lin Feng couldn't help but laugh. The Xianyuan ancient starship had been completely remodeled. Its attack power had increased by at least a few levels. These spirit stone shells are specially made. You'll need to find an alchemist to refine them. I have 2,000 of these shells, so I'll give you 1,000 for now. As for the ones you need in the future, you'll have to think of a way to get them. The Empress waved her right hand as she spoke. A long river of spirit stone shells flew out. These spirit stone shells were also very large. Each of them had a diameter of about 60 to 70 meters. Lin Feng didn't stand on ceremony with the Empress and kept all the spirit stone shells. Then, he looked at the Empress affectionately and said, "My wife is still the best to me." The Empress waved her fist and said, "If you call me your wife again, I'll really beat you up." The Empress had only threatened Lin Feng verbally. She didn't really attack Lin Feng. The Empress, who had a sharp tongue but a soft heart, was still quite cute. Lin Feng put away the Xianyuan ancient starship and boarded the Empress's Pirates of the Gods to head to the place she wanted to go. Lin Feng asked, "What exactly have you been looking for so many years?" The Empress said faintly, "It's something passed down from my ancestors." Lin Feng's heart skipped a beat. He suddenly thought of the Empress's bloodline. The Empress also had the 9-colored supreme aura. According to Lin Feng's knowledge, the 9-colored supreme aura was passed down through her family. In other words, it was almost impossible for a cultivator to cultivate the 9-colored supreme aura. To be able to inherit the 9-colored supreme aura bloodline, it had to be an incomparably terrifying bloodline, just like his sovereign bloodline. Then, what was the bloodline of the Empress? Originally, Lin Feng wanted to ask about the Empress's bloodline. However, since the Empress didn't take the initiative to talk about it, he decided to go with her. Lin Feng didn't ask. If the Empress wanted to tell him, she would definitely tell him even if he didn't ask. If the Empress didn't want to talk about it, she wouldn't say anything even if he asked. This would make everyone feel awkward instead. 10 days later, the god's pirate ship arrived at a foggy world. Black fog drifted in the air. A cold and gloomy aura filled the air. A cold wind blew. Amidst the howling wind, one could vaguely hear the sound of crying. It sounded like the weeping of a malicious spirit, causing people to shudder. Lin Feng stood on the deck and looked around. He couldn't help but frown. This sea made him very uncomfortable and uneasy. Kik-kik. Suddenly, a burst of sinister laughter came from the left. Lin Feng looked over and saw a malicious spirit in a blood-red robe floating outside the ancient ship. This malicious spirit was a female ghost. Her hair was loose, and her tongue was more than a meter long. Her gloomy eyes were staring at him. What a terrifying aura! It's at least at the level of a ghost king, right? Lin Feng looked solemn. The king of all ghosts was a ghost king. To be able to be called a ghost king, one had to have monstrous powers. Such a ghost was incomparably terrifying. That was why this malicious spirit dared to stay outside the ancient ship and stare at Lin Feng with her gloomy eyes. She wasn't afraid of Lin Feng at all. This place is a place in the sea that leads to the underworld. That's why there are so many evil spirits and ghosts. The Empress walked out of the cabin and said aloud, Lin Feng felt his scalp go numb. Such places were usually incomparably evil. He had encountered such places in the starry sky world and the netherworld sea. Because this sea had a passage to the underworld, countless vengeful spirits and evil spirits would gather here and head to the underworld. Therefore, it was easy to form a magnetic field in such a place. A magnetic field was an indescribable and special existence. A magnetic field could change many things. Some small magnetic fields could change the direction of a compass. Some more powerful magnetic fields could cause people to fall into an endless illusion. Some more powerful magnetic fields could change the laws of heaven and earth. If one encountered an extremely terrifying magnetic field, that would be terrifying. Such a magnetic field could reverse yin and yang. Once one fell into such a magnetic field, it was very likely that one would enter the passage to the underworld from the world of the living, and it would be very difficult to find the way out. It seems that the place we're going to is different from the rest, Lin Feng said. The Empress said, "Do you blame me for bringing you to such a dangerous place?" Lin Feng gently stroked the Empress's beautiful face, and she didn't dodge. Lin Feng said, "Why would I blame you? For you, even if I had to go to the underworld, I would be willing to go to the underworld." The Empress felt as if her rock-solid heart had been touched. She gently bit her lip, and her eyes became watery. On her pretty face, there was an additional blush of embarrassment. "I'm tired, I'm going to rest," the Empress said softly, then turned around and entered the cabin. "I will eat you!" After the Empress entered the cabin, the Ghost King's sinister voice sounded. "I have no grievances with you in the past, so why would you want to eat me?" Lin Feng pursed his lips. He didn't find it strange that a Ghost King could awaken a complete consciousness. The Ghost King suddenly pointed to her left chest and roared, "Do you see that? My heart is gone!" Lin Feng nodded and said, "Yes, your heart is gone. It seems like it was dug out by someone." Screech! The Ghost King screamed as if she had gone mad. Her screams were too shrill, and Lin Feng felt as if his soul was about to split open. This Ghost King's strength was incomparably terrifying. Lin Feng hurriedly covered his ears. The Ghost King continued to scream in midair, and the ghost chi coming from her body became more and more turbulent. After a long time, she finally calmed down. "Could it be that you still remember what happened in the past? That's why you're so angry?" Lin Feng asked. The Ghost King was filled with hatred as she said, "It was a man who dug out my heart with his own hands. And that man was the man I once loved. For him, I even betrayed my own family, but he kept using me. After he was done using me, he used the cruelest way to torture me. He only stopped when my heart was dug out. I really hate him. No wonder you're so angry. Anyone would be filled with hatred if this happened to them," Lin Feng said. "None of you men are good. I'll kill every one of you I see. You'll be next," the Ghost King said sinisterly. Chapter 2058. Lin Feng said, "As the saying goes, every injustice has its perpetrator, and every debt has its debtor. I didn't kill you, so even if you're angry, you should go and find the man who killed you. Why harm the innocent?" the female Ghost King said. "I can't find him. My memories are very blurry, and I can't remember who he is or what he looks like. However, I do remember how cruel he was. He pierced my heart with a knife and then dug it out." Whoa! At that moment, the female Ghost King suddenly started crying. She cried very sadly, as if her heart had been cut to pieces. It seemed that the female Ghost King was no longer a simple ghost. After forming her own intelligence, she was no longer a simple ghost. After she gained sentience, she gained the ability to think. She also had a complete mind of her own. Lin Feng asked, "Why did that man kill you? Why should I tell you?" The female Ghost King stopped crying. She looked coldly at Lin Feng, her eyes flashing with killing intent. Whoosh! She flew into the distance, and soon disappeared without a trace. Lin Feng stood on the deck, and from time to time, he could see spirits and vengeful spirits floating in the sea. This place was filled with dead spirits, and only powerful cultivators could enter such a cold and terrifying place. If an ordinary person entered such a place, they would immediately die a horrible death. Lin Feng felt a little hungry, so he started to roast meat on the Empress's godly pirate ship. This was Lin Feng's specialty. When the Empress smelled the delicious aroma of roasted meat, she couldn't help but walk out of her cabin. When she saw Lin Feng cooking over a bonfire on her godly pirate ship, she couldn't help but roll her eyes at Lin Feng. "Wife, you're out. You must be hungry. Come and eat something. Roasted meat, snake soup, and these are all frozen ingredients. Although the taste isn't as fresh as when I killed these beasts, your husband's cooking skills are top-notch, so it's still very delicious," Lin Feng said with a smile. The Empress couldn't be bothered to talk to Lin Feng anymore. If he wanted to call her wife, then so be it. In any case, this fellow wouldn't listen even if he tried. She came to Lin Feng's side and snorted. "If it doesn't taste good, I'll throw you out to accompany the female ghost king." Keek keek. The female ghost king floating outside the ancient ship let out a sinister laugh. Lin Feng said with a smile, "Your husband is very confident in his craftsmanship. Try it quickly." Lin Feng cut off a piece of roasted meat and personally fed it to the Empress. The Empress's pretty face turned slightly red. She opened her mouth and ate it. Then, she elegantly savored the taste of the barbecued meat. His eyes grew brighter and brighter. "How does it taste?" Lin Feng asked. "SOSO," the Empress said insincerely. The changes on the Empress's face naturally couldn't be hidden from Lin Feng's eyes. She had such an expression of enjoyment. How was this sloppy? I'm the one who's satisfied. Lin Feng didn't expose the Empress. He scooped a bowl of snake soup for her and said, "Try the soup. How does it taste?" The Empress stretched out her jade-like hand and scooped a spoonful of snake soup. Then, she elegantly took a sip. Her beautiful eyes immediately lit up. "The snake soup is not bad. Overall, it barely passes. I won't throw you out." After saying that, the Empress elegantly ate the soup. "I want to eat too," the female ghost king shouted. Lin Feng rolled his eyes and said, "You're a ghost, all right? How can ghosts eat barbecued meat?" The female ghost king couldn't help but roll her eyes. "I'm a ghost king, not an ordinary ghost. Of course, I can eat barbecued meat." Lin Feng tossed a piece of barbecued meat to the female ghost king. She ate it with gusto. "Where's the soup?" the female ghost king asked. Lin Feng was speechless. "Big sister ghost king, are you trying to kill me? Now you're actually eating at my place? Aren't you a little too thick-skinned?" However, Lin Feng was too kind. He scooped a bowl of soup for the female ghost king. However, he didn't dare to approach the female ghost king. Instead, he wrapped the soup with his magic and sent it out. The female ghost king drank the snake soup with gusto. After a delicious meal, the female ghost king disappeared again. The Empress went back to rest. Lin Feng cleaned up the outside and returned to his room to rest. He fell asleep in a daze. After an unknown amount of time, a sinister voice resounded in Lin Feng's mind. "If the King of Hell wants you to die at midnight, he won't let you live until midnight." After hearing this voice, Lin Feng came back to his senses. He quickly went to the deck and waited for him to come out. When he came out, he discovered that the Empress was already standing outside. Lin Feng took a deep breath and said, "We've entered the sea route to the netherworld." This wasn't the first time he had encountered such a situation. Thus, he knew about the trouble they were in. "The items left behind by my ancestor are on this sea route to the netherworld," the Empress said. Lin Feng laughed bitterly. "Your ancestor is really a god. To think that he would leave these items in this place. Ordinary people wouldn't be able to find them. That's why I've kept them until now. If I leave them outside, these items might no longer belong to me," the Empress said. Lin Feng nodded and pointed into the distance. One by one, the ghost ships floated over. They were glowing brightly. These were the souls of those who died at sea. Their souls would enter the netherworld. There are so many ghost ships. I wonder how many people die at sea every day. Looking at the densely packed ghost ships, the Empress couldn't help but sigh. Yes, the sea has devoured too many lives. Lin Feng mumbled. The Empress said, It's not just the sea. People are dying everywhere. This is how cruel the world is. One by one, the ghost ships floated into the depths of the sea. There were old people, middle-aged people, young people, children, and even babies on the ghost ships. Now, they had all turned into ghosts. Suddenly, Lin Feng's eyes narrowed as he looked at one of the ghost ships. When he saw the undead ship, his face was filled with disbelief. The Empress also noticed Lin Feng's strange expression. She couldn't help but look at the ghost ship that Lin Feng was looking at. There was a Taoist priest sitting on the ghost ship. How can this be? Lin Feng's face was filled with disbelief. Taoist Wu Liang! The one sitting on the ghost ship was actually the immeasurable Taoist. He couldn't believe what he was seeing was real. Taoist Wu Liang had so many tricks up his sleeves. How could he die? Wu Liang! Wu Liang! Wu Liang! Lin Feng shouted loudly. Taoist Wu Liang, who was sitting on the ghost ship, heard this familiar voice. He looked into the distance. The black fog gradually dispersed, and an ancient ship appeared in his line of sight. On the ship stood two people, a man and a woman. Lin Feng, the boundless Taoist priest, was surprised. He hadn't thought he'd see Lin Feng here. Chapter 2059. Lin Feng had known Wu Liang Taoist since he was a young boy. Although Wu Liang Taoist was a cheater most of the time. However, over the years, Lin Feng and Wu Liang Taoist had gotten along very well. Although they often mocked and ridiculed each other when they met, the two of them had experienced many things together. They could be called close friends. Now that he saw Wu Liang Taoist sitting on the ghost ship, Lin Feng's heart was very heavy. Kid, why are you here? Wu Liang Taoist asked curiously. Lin Feng said, The Empress and I are here to do something. How did you die? Am I dead? Wu Liang Taoist asked. Those who sat on the ghost ship were actually souls. The souls' memories were often incomplete, so most of the time, they did not know that they were dead. Wu Liang Taoist was in the same situation. So I'm already dead. Wu Liang Taoist sat down on the ship. Seeing Wu Liang Taoist in such a daze, Lin Feng felt very pained. Seeing his close friend's soul on a ghost ship heading to the netherworld on the ship. Was there anything more heartbreaking than this? Lin Feng took out a rope and threw it over. Grab the rope, I'll pull you up. Are you crazy? This is the passage to the netherworld, and he's already dead. There's no way to pull him up. Moreover, you might also suffer because of this and become one of the ghosts. The Empress hurriedly said. Lin Feng had heard of such rumors before. It was said that when living beings in the mortal realm mistakenly entered the passage to the netherworld, they should never try to pull the dead ghosts onto the ancient ship. This was because anyone who did so would not only be unable to pull the ghosts onto the ship, they would also be cursed by the netherworld. They would also become one of the ghosts. However, seeing Wu Liang Taoist in such a daze, as his close friend, Lin Feng really wanted to pull him up. Wu Liang Taoist said, I'm already dead. This is my fate, and it can't be changed. The ghost ship he was on gradually disappeared into the distance. Lin Feng clenched his fists. His heart was filled with sorrow. Goodbye. Let's meet again in the next life. Taoist Wu Liang waved at Lin Feng. Rest in peace, we'll meet again in the next life. Lin Feng waved his hand and muttered to himself. The ghost ship drifted further and further away, until Lin Feng could no longer see the ghost ship. There are many things in this world that cannot be controlled or predicted. Most of the time, life is so fragile. Lin Feng muttered to himself. The Empress said, The dead have already passed away. As for the living, they need to be even stronger. Lin Feng replied, I'm fine. He turned around and entered the cabin. Then, he returned to his room. I used to call you Death Taoist. Who would have thought that you would actually become a death Taoist? It's said that good people don't live long, but scourges live for 1,000 years. You're simply a scourge. How did you die? Could it be that he had dug up some terrifying ancient tomb and had lost his life as well? I've already advised you not to dig up tombs as much as possible, but you didn't listen. Forget it, you're already dead. I can't be bothered to continue lecturing you. Here's a toast to you. Feel free to drink. Lin Feng picked up a bottle of wine and clinked it with a jar of wine beside him. Then, he began to gulp down the wine. The next day, Lin Feng seemed to have returned to normal. The Ghoul King appeared like a ghost. She laughed strangely and said, I heard that a good friend of yours died? Where did you hear that? Lin Feng asked indifferently. There are ghosts and spirits everywhere here. Isn't it easy to find out some things? The Ghoul King said. Lin Feng nodded. He was in a bad mood and was not in the mood to continue chatting with the Ghoul King. I'm leaving. I'll let you off for now. Before I return, you'd better not let me see you again. Otherwise, I'll make sure you die a miserable death. The Ghoul King said. Where are you going? Lin Feng asked. I'm going to find a heart. A heart that I can use. I don't have a heart right now. It's so painful. I need to get my own heart as soon as possible. The Ghoul King said. Dig out the hearts of bad people. Don't dig out the hearts of good people. Lin Feng said. The Ghoul King laughed eerily and said, I'm the most vicious Ghoul King. I kill without batting an eye. In my eyes, there's no difference between good and bad. I'll kill whoever I want to kill. Lin Feng said. You're actually a very kind Ghoul King. You're just blinded by hatred. I believe that you'll definitely be able to find your true self. No, no, no. I'm an evil ghost. I'm the most terrifying evil ghost. I'm not some kind Ghoul King. The Ghoul King shouted crazily. Then she swept up endless ghost fog and rushed into the distance. In the blink of an eye, she disappeared without a trace. You're a very kind Ghoul King. Lin Feng muttered to himself. Another late night fell. Every night, the sea route to the underworld would become extremely dangerous. It was the same tonight. Clang! 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 Something was attacking the restrictions of the god's pirate ship. Lin Feng and the Empress were alarmed. Anything that could appear on the route to the underworld was definitely not simple. Lin Feng was very clear about this. The Empress was also very clear about this. The two of them did not walk out to avoid seeing something that they should not see. Let's speed up and get rid of the other party, Lin Feng said. The Empress nodded. She activated the restrictions of the god's pirate ship. The god's pirate ship's speed suddenly increased. Clang! 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 However, the mysterious existence in the darkness was still attacking the restrictions of the god's pirate ship. Although the god's pirate ship increased its speed, it did not shake off the unknown terrifying existence. Lin Feng and the Empress's expressions became serious. What kind of terrifying thing was attached to the god's pirate ship? He. A series of gloomy voices could be heard. It was the voice of that terrifying existence. Where the dead come, living beings are destined to become dead spirits. The gloomy voice could be heard again. Soldiers can enter the world of the living and pass through. Living beings in the world of the living can naturally enter the world of the dead and pass through. The living beings in the world of the living have opened the door for the soldiers. Can the dead also make a path for the living beings in the world of the living? If there is a day when we meet in the future, there might be a time when we can help each other, Lin Feng said. He. You have a glib tongue. The mysterious existence let out a series of gloomy laughter. Immediately, his aura quickly disappeared into the distance. Lin Feng and the Empress heaved a sigh of relief. 3 days later, the Empress took out a jade tablet, which was emitting waves of intense energy waves. We're about to reach our destination, the Empress said. Chapter 2060. The jade pendant in the Empress's hand was obviously the key to entering that secret place. Whoosh! With a flash of light, the jade pendant seemed to have formed a mysterious connection with a certain place. The Empress used the jade pendant to change the course of the god's pirate ship. The god's pirate ship was extremely fast. It was like a bolt of lightning as it rushed forward. Not long after, the jade pendant's light became brighter and brighter. The Empress and Lin Feng walked out of the cabin and onto the deck. Whoosh! Suddenly, a dazzling ray of light shot out from the jade token into the endless darkness in front of him. A bright ball of light appeared in front of Lin Feng and the Empress. "That's the place!" The Empress smiled. The god's pirate ship quickly flew over and entered the bright ball of light. Whoosh! The next moment, the god's pirate ship disappeared. With a flash of light, Lin Feng felt as if he had arrived in another world. Previously, on the route to the netherworld, the aura was cold, sinister, and terrifying. The aura of death was everywhere. Every moment, he could hear the cries of malicious spirits. It was as if he had arrived in the netherworld. However, this place was bright, filled with the sound of birds chirping and the fragrance of flowers. It was a grassland full of fragrant grass, surrounded by forests. This change was as if he had arrived in heaven from hell. "This is the place you were talking about." Lin Feng looked at the Empress. "Yes, this is the place," the Empress said. Then, the two of them flew down from the god's pirate ship. Suddenly, a man walked over from the grassland in front of them. That man was wearing a Taoist robe with the 8 trigrams printed on it. "This is—" Lin Feng narrowed his eyes, revealing an extremely shocked expression. What he saw was not what was happening now, but what had happened in the past. It was just that this world had imprinted some of the things that had happened in the past. Not long after, a beam of immortal light flew over from the distance. Within the immortal light, a woman appeared. This woman had a snake's tail and a human body, but she did not give off a seductive feeling. Instead, she gave off an incomparably sacred feeling. "Goddess Nuwa!" Lin Feng was shocked. This woman looked exactly like Goddess Nuwa's statue. In the martial heaven continent and the 9 prefectures, Nuwa's temples could still be seen in countless places. Even though countless years had passed, the people of the world hadn't forgotten Maiden Nuwa's contributions. They were still worshipping Mother Nuwa. Lin Feng's heart was filled with shock when he saw Goddess Nuwa in this place. "If Lady Nuwa is here, doesn't that mean that man is Fushi?" Lin Feng took a deep breath. Fushi, one of the ancestors of the human race, was one of the 3 sovereigns and 5 emperors. He was the oldest ancestor of the human race. The human race was weak, and it was Fushi who had led the human race to power. Fushi's life was filled with countless mysteries and legends. Based on the changes in the world, the change of the 4 seasons, birth, aging, sickness, death, and other natural phenomena, he created the innate 8 trigrams. After many deductions. Later on, he used the innate 8 trigrams as his foundation. He had created the array. From this, one could see just how great Fushi's contributions were. Goddess Nuwa and Fushi. How many tens of millions of years had these people been here? Lin Feng's heart trembled. The Empress said that her ancestor left behind something important here, but Fushi and Goddess Nuwa actually appeared here. Could the Empress be a descendant of Fushi or Goddess Nuwa? Fushi is a human. Although I don't know what race the Empress is, she clearly isn't human. Could she be a descendant of Goddess Nuwa? When he thought of this, Lin Feng's heart was in turmoil. Ever since he had learned that the Empress had a 9-colored supreme aura, Lin Feng knew that her origins were extraordinary. Her ancestor had to be incomparably powerful. He had once guessed who her ancestor might be. However, he had never thought of Goddess Nuwa. After Fushi and Goddess Nuwa met, they seemed to be discussing something. Furthermore, both of them had incomparably anxious expressions. Unfortunately, the laws of the world could imprint images of past events. However, they couldn't imprint their voices. Thus, Lin Feng and the Empress could only see the images, but not hear anything. As such, they had no idea what they were discussing. Goddess Nuwa and Fushi quickly left this place. The images came to an abrupt end. The Empress seemed to have seen these images before, so she didn't show any particular surprise. She headed deeper into the mountains. Lin Feng followed her. The two of them arrived at a mountain range deep within the mountains. There was an enormous cave residence in the depths of this mountain range, and outside it stood a towering statue. This statue was none other than the statue of Goddess Nuwa. The statue was wreathed in a halo of holy light, looking incomparably divine. The Empress knelt on the ground and kowed out 3 times to Goddess Nuwa. Lin Feng knelt on the ground and bowed to Goddess Nuwa as well. Goddess Nuwa was the mother of the land and had done far too many things for the sake of all living beings in the universe. She was worthy of everyone's respect. They revered and worshipped her. After paying their respects to Goddess Nuwa, Lin Feng looked at the Empress and asked, "Wife, are you a descendant of Goddess Nuwa?" The Empress snorted and nodded. Lin Feng smiled. "I didn't expect my wife to have such an impressive background." The Empress waved her fist and said, "Now that you know who my ancestor is, behave yourself. If I tell you to go east, you will go east. If I tell you to go west, you will go west. If I tell you to go east, you will go east. If I tell you to go west, you will go west. If you dare to disobey me, I will beat you until you are looking for your teeth on the ground. Isn't that too violent? It's ruining your perfect image," Lin Feng said with a long face. "It's too late to realize that I'm violent." The Empress revealed a sly smile. Then, she said, "Take a look and see if you can break the formation here." Lin Feng nodded and observed the formation. It was indeed incomparably complex, and breaking it wouldn't be easy. His gaze finally landed on the statue of Goddess Nuwa. Lin Feng noticed that the statue seemed to have fused with the formation. Lin Feng said, "Wife, why is Goddess Nuwa's statue still surrounded by a holy light? Goddess Nuwa should have passed away, right? Since she passed away, she shouldn't be able to absorb the power of faith. But when I look at this statue, it gives me the feeling that Goddess Nuwa is still alive in this world." The Empress was shocked when she heard Lin Feng's words. Mother Nuwa was her ancestor. If Mother Nuwa was still alive, it would naturally be a delightful surprise. The Empress asked impatiently, "Why do you say that Goddess Nuwa is still alive? It's just a statue. What can you tell from it?" Chapter 2061, said Lin Feng. "Many times, a statue is not just a statue for people to worship. It's also related to the strength of belief. Faith power is a very strange power. When a cultivator is still alive, they can continuously absorb faith power. Moreover, as a medium for cultivators to absorb faith power, the faith power will constantly transform them. As time goes by, the statues can even give birth to their own consciousness. That's why miracles have appeared in many places. It's not just for show. But if a person dies, they will naturally no longer be able to absorb the power of faith. As a result, the statue will gradually lose its spiritual consciousness and the support of the power of faith, becoming ordinary. But look at this statue of Goddess Nuwa. It is surrounded by a holy power. This power is so powerful. This is the purest power of faith. If Goddess Nuwa has really died, why is her statue still absorbing the power of faith endlessly? You should know that the statues themselves aren't able to absorb faith energy. They're just mediums. Only if Lady Nuwa is absorbing faith energy would the statues be able to do so." The Empress was both surprised and delighted by Lin Feng's explanation, but she quickly said, "But Lady Nuwa really did die a long time ago. Ever since the Great Xiantian War, all the Xiantian lifeforms in the world died, including Lady Nuwa. This happened in the primordial era. Who knows how many years have passed? Even if she didn't die during the Great Xiantian War, she should have reached the end of her lifespan by now." Lin Feng was also suspicious of the Empress's 2 points. According to what Lin Feng knew, the Great Xiantian War had indeed buried all the Xiantian lifeforms. As a Xiantian lifeform, Lady Nuwa had also died in that war. Most importantly, The absolute beginning era of the Great War between sentient lifeforms was the fifth great era after the creation of the universe. Since then, 2,995 great eras had already passed. How long had it been? Who could live for so long? Immortals who claimed to live forever had long since died of old age. Unless one could achieve eternal life. But eternal life was just a legend. The Empress continued, "The fact that Lady Niwa is still alive is naturally a joyous occasion, but we can only speculate. We can't influence this matter." Lin Feng nodded and said, "Yes, I hope that these ancestors are still alive in this world." The Empress said, "Break the formation now." Lin Feng replied, "This formation is too complicated. I'm afraid that it'll take us a long time to break through it. I'm already mentally prepared for this," the Empress said. The Empress herself was quite proficient in array formations. As such, Lin Feng could often exchange views on array formations with her. In the next 6 months, Lin Feng and the Empress tried many different ways to break the formation and improved their own methods time and time again. After working hard for such a long time, the two of them finally succeeded in breaking the array. "Great! I've finally broken the formation. I'm so happy!" The Empress cheered excitedly. Lin Feng smiled and said, "Let's go in and see what's inside." The Empress nodded excitedly, then entered the cave with Lin Feng. This cave had once been where Lady Niwa had lived. There were many scrolls here. Perhaps rice paper hadn't been invented in this era, so the words were all engraved on bamboo slips. Lin Feng looked at the mountain of bamboo slips. He took a bamboo slip and opened it. Immediately after, he frowned. "These words are too ancient. I don't recognize them at all," Lin Feng said gloomily. The Empress also looked at the contents of the bamboo slips, and her face scrunched up as well. She said, "These should be words from before the beginning of the world. Or perhaps they're innate lifeforms, words that have been lost for a long time." "Ah!" Lin Feng shouted gloomily. There were so many bamboo slips here, so they must have recorded many shocking things. Perhaps some of the bamboo slips even recorded Lady Niwa's powerful legacy. But there was nothing he could do. Lin Feng didn't recognize the words on the slips. Lin Feng wanted to cry, but no tears came out. He put down the slips and continued to search the cave. "Eh? A portrait!" The Empress found a portrait and opened it. Lin Feng walked over and saw 6 people in the portrait. One of them was Lady Niwa. They recognized the second person as well. It was the Fushi they had met before. The third person was a middle-aged cultivator holding a wooden drill. "This is Swirenchi, right?" said Lin Feng, pointing at the man with the wooden drill. Swirenchi was drilling wood to start a fire. This was Sovereign Swirenchi of the 3 human sovereigns. The Empress nodded and said, "It should be Swirenchi." The two of them then looked at the other 3. The fourth person was also a woman. She wore a pure white dress and looked holy. She held a jade rui in her hand. It was a very strange jade rui. It actually had 9 colors. 9-colored jade rui? Rumor has it that it's the treasure of the Empyrean Maiden. Could this woman be the Empyrean Maiden? The Empress said. Lin Feng's heart skipped a beat as he recalled the legends of the Empyrean Maiden. It was said that she was an extremely terrifying existence. She was one of the strongest sentient lifeforms, born from the heavens and nurtured by the earth. She had 9 lives. She could also be revived after death. It was said that if the Empyrean Maiden could reincarnate 9 times and regain her memories of her previous life, she would be immortal. Of course, Lin Feng didn't know if the rumors were true. "It should be her," Lin Feng said. They looked at the 5th person. This person was an extremely dignified man, and he held a giant axe in his hand. Lin Feng and the Empress exchanged a glance, then said in unison, "It can't be Pangu, right?" Pangu wasn't the only sentient life form who used axes as treasures. However, Pangu was definitely the only one who could use axes and stand with Niwa, Fushi, Swirenchi, and the Empyrean Maiden. The background of this group of people was simply too extraordinary. Any one of them had a frightening background. Lin Feng and the Empress looked at the sixth person in the portrait. The sixth person grinned and raised both of his hands, making a peace sign with each hand. His temperament was completely different from that of the other five. The sixth person had a frivolous look on his face. "Who is this great god?" the Empress asked with a wry smile. Lin Feng's eyelids twitched violently when he saw this mysterious, frivolous expert. Chapter 2062. It was a very strange feeling. It was as if there was some sort of special connection between them. Lin Feng was shocked. Could this mysterious expert who was smiling and gesturing with his hands be related to him in some way? Goddess Niwa, Serene, Fushi, the Empyrean Maiden, and Panga are all saints. Since this mysterious expert is standing with them, he should be a saint as well. Who was it that drew the painting of the six sages in the past? The Empress asked doubtfully. This was destined to be a mystery that no one would ever know. Lin Feng rubbed his hands and chuckled. "Wife, give me this portrait." "Of course, I can give it to you, but you have to listen to me obediently in the future," the Empress said with a faint smile. Lin Feng said, "I promise I'll listen to you." The Empress smiled and handed the portrait to Lin Feng. Then, she continued looking for other things. Lin Feng's gaze was fixed on the portrait. "Who is this?" He narrowed his eyes and looked at the sixth person. He had already confirmed the identities of the first five people. They were all extremely famous existences. They were the greatest group of existences since the creation of the universe. Since they were standing with them, it meant that they were at least on the same level as them. The only difference was that Goddess Niwa, Fushi, Serene, the Empyrean Maiden, and Panga all gave off a holy aura. The cynical attitude of this mysterious expert who was gesturing with a peace sign and grinning from ear to ear was really out of place. He can't be one of the sovereign's ancestors, can he? Lin Feng thought of a certain possibility, and his heart skipped a beat. The first ancestor of the sovereigns had awakened Pangu, Niwa, and the others. This meant that the sovereign's ancestors were extremely ancient, perhaps even older than Pangu, Niwa, and the others. The man in the portrait wasn't necessarily the first ancestor of the sovereign's ancestors. According to seniority, this was the first ancestor of the sovereigns. He was the son of the first ancestor of the sovereign clan. He should be on the same level as Pangu, Niwa, and the others. Of course, all of this was just Lin Feng's guess. He didn't know whether or not he was an ancestor of the sovereign emperor clan. Lin Feng tried to probe the portrait with his divine sense to see if there was anything special about it. However, when he used his spiritual force to sense it, he realized that his spiritual force could not penetrate the portrait. This portrait was very strange. There was a special energy that blocked the probing of divine sense. Not simple at all. Lin Feng couldn't help but scratch his chin. Because this was the place where Mother Niwa had once lived, the aura of life here was quite strong. Lin Feng even saw some spices used for cooking. It seemed that Lady Niwa wasn't an otherworldly person after all. The most valuable items in the cave abode outside were probably those bamboo slips. However, Lin Feng and the Empress couldn't read the words on them. As for the rest of the items, they weren't worth much. However, there were 3 stone rooms in the depths of the cave. The first stone room was Lady Niwa's bedroom. The second stone room was where Lady Niwa cultivated. The third stone room was sealed by a formation. Lin Feng and the Empress broke through the formation. Immediately, powerful spiritual energy emanated from the third stone room. The two of them opened the door to the third stone room. Upon entering, they discovered that there was a huge pool in the room. In the pool, there was a pool of spiritual liquid. Found it! The Empress was pleasantly surprised. Clearly, this was the pool of spiritual liquid that the Empress had spent so much effort searching for. Lin Feng asked, "What's the origin of this spiritual liquid?" "This is the spirit cleansing liquid passed down by the Niwa clan. Cultivating in it can awaken the bloodline memories of the Niwa clan's descendants." Lin Feng's eyes widened. Awakening the bloodline memories was equivalent to awakening the bloodline inheritance. The Empress would receive the various abilities and divine abilities of the Niwa clan. Her bloodline would become even more powerful. Her cultivation would soar to an unimaginable level. Lin Feng's sovereign emperor blood or undying god blood could also undergo bloodline awakening and obtain all sorts of powerful abilities. However, the key point was, if Lin Feng wanted to undergo bloodline awakening, he would need to find the ancestral grounds of the sovereign emperor clan and undying god clan. Only in the ancestral grounds could one undergo bloodline awakening. Awakening a bloodline was an extremely important matter for a cultivator. It was equivalent to a huge transformation in one's life. Now, the Empress was about to awaken the bloodline memories of the Niwa clan. Once she did, she would complete an extremely important transformation in her life. "Wife, after you awaken your bloodline memories, you can't bully me," Lin Feng said with a smile. He was naturally happy for the Empress. "Humph! That depends on whether you're obedient or not," the Empress snorted. "Of course I'm obedient. I'll listen to everything you say, wife," Lin Feng said with a smile. The Empress pinched Lin Feng's face and said, "It's good that you know how to be obedient. Now you can go out, and you can't come in and peek. Do you hear me?" Lin Feng said with a smile. "Your entire body is mine. You can look at it openly." The Empress waved her fists. Lin Feng smiled embarrassedly and hurriedly left. The stone room's door closed. The Empress found a place to sit cross-legged and began to adjust her state. Next, she would undergo the most important awakening in her life so far. Lin Feng walked over to the pile of bamboo slips and casually took one of them. He opened it, and it was still filled with those strange ancient words. "Demon Lord, do you recognize these words?" Lin Feng asked. The Demon Lord said, "These are innate lifeforms' words. They have long been lost. I don't recognize them either. Are we just guarding a mountain of treasures without being able to obtain anything?" Lin Feng said helplessly. He really wanted to cry but had no tears. The Demon Lord said, "Perhaps this is the will of the heavens. You can't force it. What's yours will always be yours. If it's not yours, it won't be yours no matter how much you force it." Lin Feng didn't give up. He opened the bamboo slips one by one. After opening more than 1,000 bamboo slips, Lin Feng discovered that the newest slips didn't just have words. There were also some simple drawings. Although he couldn't recognize the words, he could understand the drawings on them. The drawings were of an ancient tribe. The people of the tribe were gathered together to worship a stone turtle. This stone tortoise was very special. It was extremely huge, and on its back, there was actually a huge stone tablet. "The Black Tortoise Tablet!" Lin Feng looked at the drawings in shock. "This is..." The Demon Lord was also very shocked. His eyes flickered violently. Now that he had recovered most of his memories, he knew many secrets that Lin Feng didn't know. When he saw the drawing of the Black Tortoise Tablet, he instantly thought of some ancient rumors. Some rumors caused great waves in his heart, and he couldn't calm down for a long time. Chapter 2063. The Black Tortoise Hunchback Tablet often appeared in legends. Among the many legends there were a few that were the most mysterious. The Divine Court, the Heaven-Shaking Stone Tablet, the Door of Everlasting Life, and so on. These legends were enough to shock the world. The Black Tortoise Hunchback Tablet was a mysterious treasure that was on the same level as the Divine Court, the Heaven-Shaking Stone Tablet, and the Door of Everlasting Life. The heavens and earth were born, and the heavens and earth were dead. Before the creation of the world, the Divine Court, the Heaven-Shaking Stone Tablet, the Door of Everlasting Life, and the Black Tortoise Hunchback Tablet had already existed. The Black Tortoise had always been one of the most mysterious sacred beasts. It was so mysterious that the world only knew that the Black Tortoise was one of the 5 sacred beasts. It was rumored that every time a great era ended and a new one began, the Black Tortoise Hunchback Tablet would appear. Since the creation of the world, the Black Tortoise Hunchback Tablet had experienced the rise and fall of 3,000 great eras. And every time, the Black Tortoise Hunchback Tablet would appear. If it only appeared once or twice, or even 8 or 10 times, or even a few hundred times, no one would find it strange. But the key point was, the black tortoise hunchback tablet would appear every time. Some people said that the appearance of the black tortoise hunchback tablet marked the end of a great era and the beginning of a new one. Even now, there were still many rumors about the black tortoise hunchback tablet. Lin Feng was shocked when he saw the black tortoise hunchback tablet on the bamboo scroll. The Demon Lord was equally shocked. Lin Feng said, "Demon Lord, there are rumors that the black tortoise hunchback tablet is related to a terrifying curse. Are these rumors true?" The Demon Lord replied, "I'm not sure, but I'm sure that your master knows." "Master Tortoise?" Lin Feng said in surprise. The Demon Lord nodded and said, "He's from the Black Tortoise tribe, so he might know something that outsiders don't." Lin Feng couldn't help but scratch his chin. This cheap master of his had always been mysterious. He was hiding too many secrets. Moreover, he was an old con man. He had tricked Lin Feng into cultivating the 8-9 arcane art. However, Lin Feng knew that his cheap master was no ordinary person. Perhaps he could ask him about the black tortoise hunchback tablet in the future. At this time, the Demon Lord continued, "Although I don't know if the black tortoise hunchback tablet is related to the curse, I do know that the black tortoise hunchback tablet is indeed very strange. In the past, I heard my ancestor talk about the black tortoise hunchback tablet." "Your ancestor? Holy shit, you have an ancestral master?" Lin Feng said in surprise. Yao Jun couldn't help but roll his eyes and say, "What's the big deal about having an ancestor?" Lin Feng grinned and said, "It's nothing to be surprised about. I always thought you were a rogue cultivator. We've known each other for so many years, but you've never talked about your sect." The Demon Lord said indifferently, "You've never asked either." He then continued, "Back then, my ancestor saw the black tortoise hunchback tablet. At that time, he was still very young. On the banks of the Heavenly Realm's heavenly river, he saw a huge turtle swimming over from afar. It carried a huge stone tablet on its back. Many words were recorded on the tablet, and my ancestor remembered one of them. However, by the time he wanted to remember a few more words, the black tortoise hunchback tablet had already disappeared. Those words? Are they very special?" Lin Feng couldn't help but ask. "Special. Very special. After my ancestor memorized those words, it was as if he had been enlightened. From then on, he had a meteoric rise and eventually became a big shot in the heavenly realm." The Demon Lord explained. "Then does that mean that the black tortoise hunchback tablet doesn't represent bad luck? Is it a fortuitous encounter?" Lin Feng asked. "Oftentimes, fortune is where misfortune lies, and misfortune is where fortune lies," the Demon Lord said meaningfully. "Later on, I heard from my ancestor that he wasn't the only one who saw the black tortoise hunchback tablet. Many others saw it as well. At that time, the chaotic antiquity era had ended, and the immemorial era had begun. Because of the calamity, the myriad worlds were plunged into misery and suffering. Many strong cultivators fell, and new powers sprung up like bamboo shoots after a rain. The new generation of strong cultivators also began to rise. During the early years of the immemorial era, it was said that many people saw the black tortoise hunchback tablet." The Demon Lord said. Lin Feng was shocked and said, "It seems like they were like your ancestor. They obtained some fortuitous encounter from the black tortoise hunchback tablet." Yao Jun nodded and said, "It's exactly like that. Every single one of them had their own fortuitous encounters, and all of them had seized the enormous fortuitous encounters of the times to become supreme experts of the heavens and the earth. Each of them ruled over an area of the world." "What happened?" Lin Feng was puzzled. "Many strong cultivators disappeared one after another." The Demon Lord frowned. "Are you talking about the experts who saw the black tortoise hunchback tablet? Disappeared one after another?" Lin Feng frowned slightly. This was indeed a little too strange. "That's right. Moreover, most of them disappeared in their later years. At that time, my ancestor had a bad premonition, so he brought us disciples and fled from the heaven realm to the undying realm. He also concealed the heavens and thought that he could avoid this calamity. The demon lord's voice became more and more serious. But in the end, he still couldn't avoid this calamity? Has your Grandmaster gone missing as well? Lin Feng asked. Yes. The demon lord nodded. He said, I still remember what happened that day. Grandmaster came out of seclusion and gathered all the disciples. That day, he told us a lot of things. In the beginning, we didn't think it was strange. It wasn't until Grandmaster disappeared that we realized that Grandmaster was actually making arrangements for his death. Lin Feng frowned. Why did it sound more and more strange? That night, a gust of evil wind blew, accompanied by strange laughter. Ancestor disappeared without a trace. The demon lord said. Many of us went to chase after him, but we didn't find anything. Only our ancestor saw something. What did he see? Lin Feng asked curiously. Ancestor said that he seemed to have seen a black tortoise hunchback tablet flash before his eyes. But when he looked carefully, he didn't see anything at all. The demon lord said. Could it have been an illusion? Lin Feng frowned. I don't know if it was an illusion or not, but 3 days later, our ancestor died. The demon lord said. Lin Feng was shocked and asked, how did he die? Tea was still boiling in the room, but our ancestor leaned against a chair and died peacefully. We investigated his cause of death, but we couldn't find anything. The demon lord said. Lin Feng asked, could it really be related to the black tortoise hunchback tablet? That is indeed a possibility. The demon lord nodded. At that moment, the bamboo scroll in Lin Feng's hand began to emit ripples. Chapter 2064. Lin Feng looked at the bamboo slip in his hand in shock. He had not expected the bamboo slip to have such a strong fluctuation at a time like this. What's this? He looked at the changes on the bamboo slip in shock. The pictures on the bamboo slip seemed to have come to life. They were very lifelike. Whoosh! With a flash of divine light, Lin Feng was enveloped by the light. Then, he felt as if he was being pulled into the pictures. When all the pictures were put together, they formed an ancient world. As for this ancient world, it was precisely the world that had appeared in the bamboo slip. An ancient tribe was performing a sacrifice. Summon the shaman! At this moment, an old man shouted in a deep voice. Lin Feng stood in the distance and watched all of this quietly. He was just a passerby in this world. There was nothing he could do. He could only watch. An old woman wearing strange clothes walked out. The old woman's body was as withered as firewood. She was like a malicious spirit that had crawled out of hell. Her body emitted a bone-chilling aura. The old woman was the shaman. In ancient times, sacrifices were very common. In fact, even now, there were still some factions or ancient tribes that maintained the tradition of sacrifice. The shaman came in front of the black tortoise hunchback statue and said something with a pious expression. However, because her voice was too soft, Lin Feng could not hear what she was saying. The black tortoise hunchback statue was carved. It was not the black tortoise hunchback of legends. This is a totem! The demon lord's voice sounded. Lin Feng looked to his left and found that the demon lord had also entered the bamboo slip's world. What is a totem? Lin Feng asked in confusion. A totem is a symbol and also a guardian. A long, long time ago, many tribes had their own totem that they believed in. This totem could be a powerful cultivator, a willow tree, a ferocious beast, a mountain, or a long river. They believed that the totem could protect them, so they believed in the totem. Every once in a while, they would offer sacrifices to the totem. The demon lord explained. However, as time passed, huge cities appeared one after another, and people of various races and tribes began to flock into these cities to live. When people who believed in different totems began to live together, the totem culture would inevitably be greatly impacted. After hundreds of millions of years of development, because of the great integration of races and tribes, many races and tribes had lost their independence. They would no longer live together like their ancestors, and they would no longer believe in their own totems. Therefore, the totem culture gradually declined. Lin Feng rubbed his chin and said, "Nothing lasts forever." "That's right." The demon lord's voice was faint. At this time, the shaman began to perform the sacrificial ceremony. This kind of sacrificial ceremony was quite complicated. The shaman priest was jumping and jumping. His mouth was still chanting incantations. Said Lin Feng, "That race uses the black tortoise camel tablet as their totem. Could it be that they have something to do with it? Otherwise, they wouldn't have offered the black tortoise hunchback tablet." When the ceremony came to an end, 7 young boys and girls were brought forward. "What's this for?" Lin Feng was puzzled. The sacrificial ceremony naturally requires sacrifices. The sacrificial totem requires young boys and girls to be sacrificed. The demon lord explained. Lin Feng frowned and said, "Isn't this a little too cruel? Back then, it was difficult to even survive. How could there be such a thing as cruelty? Bloodletting." The shaman's sinister voice rang out. Then, several muscular men brought over a metal basin. An executioner directly slit the neck of a young boy. Blood immediately gushed out and flowed into the metal basin. The other young boys and girls were so frightened that they started crying. Their eyes searched for their parents, hoping that their parents would come and save them. The first young boy's blood was completely drained, and his corpse was thrown to the side. Then, the second young boy was sacrificed. "This is too cruel." Lin Feng's expression was gloomy. The demon lord said, "Actually, the gradual disappearance of the totem culture back then wasn't only caused by the merging of tribes and races. There was another important reason: it was too bloody and cruel. Such a totem culture is simply a synonym for evil," Lin Feng said solemnly. The 7 young boys and girls were all sacrificed, and their blood was drained dry. All the blood was poured into the metal basin. The shaman was jumping and jumping around the big iron basin. Swish! When the ceremony ended, the blood in the basin turned into a blood-red ray of light and flew into the black tortoise hunchback tablet. This ceremony is so strange. Lin Feng frowned slightly. God's protection. God's protection. Under the shaman's lead, everyone in the tribe knelt on the ground and kowtowed to the black tortoise hunchback tablet. They continuously prayed for the black tortoise hunchback tablet's protection. Gradually, the sky darkened. The night was incomparably quiet. Even the sounds of insects, birds, and beasts could not be heard. A cloud of black fog covered the sky as it flew across the sky. There seemed to be some terrifying creature hidden within the black fog. Keek. The being in the black mist let out a sinister laugh. "It's time to hunt." A chilling voice came from the black fog. When Lin Feng heard that voice, he couldn't help but feel ice cold. It was this mysterious black fog again. This was not the first time Lin Feng had seen this mysterious black fog. He did not know what kind of creature was hidden within it. The demon in the black fog is about to appear. Hurry up and hide. Quite a few tribes were hiding in the mountains or in underground secret rooms dug out from the ground. However, it was useless. Wherever the black fog passed, all the people in the tribes, men and women, old and young, were devoured by the terrifying creatures in the black fog. "What is this thing?" Lin Feng's expression was solemn. "The creature in the black fog has appeared in countless great eras. No one knows what it is." The demon lord's voice became extremely solemn. He knew some secrets and knew how terrifying the creature in the black fog was. The destruction of many great eras. It was related to them. In the past, even great emperors were unwilling to talk about these terrifying creatures. Chapter 2065. The living being in the black fog devoured one tribe after another. No one was able to fight against this terrifying being. No one knew what this terrifying existence was, but its strength was so strong that it made people tremble in fear. Roar! A roar came from the forest. The living being in the black fog had discovered a powerful beast hiding in the forest. Hence, it wanted to devour the beast. Naturally, the beast was unwilling to be devoured just like that, so it launched a counterattack. However, the powerful beast was no match for the living being in the black fog. It was devoured by the living being in the black fog. The living being in the black fog continued to search for its target. Finally, it arrived at the tribe that worshipped the black tortoise hunchback tablet. This tribe was the largest one within a radius of hundreds of thousands of miles. It had a large population and was considered an overlord-level tribe. However, in front of the living being in the black fog, this tribe was not even worth mentioning. The living being in the black fog was too powerful, so it looked down on everything. "It's here!" Trembling voices came from the darkness. Many people were curled up in the corners of the caves, trembling. "Keek, such a big tribe, I can finally have a good meal!" The living being in the black fog let out a sinister laugh. The endless black fog covered the sky and rushed towards the tribe. Swoosh! Just as the living being in the black fog reached the tribe, the black tortoise hunchback tablet suddenly emitted a ball of light. The ball of light enveloped the entire tribe. The black fog stopped. A pair of blood-red eyes could be vaguely seen in the black fog. It was unknown what kind of living being's eyes it belonged to. The pair of blood-red eyes stared at the black tortoise hunchback tablet statue, and its eyes flashed. "That's interesting." The living being in the black fog let out a sinister laugh. Then, it flew into the distance and disappeared in the blink of an eye. Lin Feng frowned slightly and looked at the black tortoise hunchback tablet statue again. This black tortoise hunchback tablet statue was indeed extraordinary. It had scared off the living being in the black fog. Swoosh! With a flash of light, Lin Feng felt himself exiting the bamboo slips world and returning to the real world. Like Lin Feng, the demon lord also returned to the real world. The black tortoise hunchback tablet's ability to scare off the creatures in the black fog. Is this really related to the blood sacrifice? Lin Feng couldn't help but frown. The demon lord said, "Not necessarily. The blood sacrifice totem represented a kind of sustenance. It didn't mean that the totem could really protect them. Which of the devoured races didn't have a blood sacrifice totem? The blood totem had already been sacrificed, but the totem did not appear to protect those races. Therefore, the fact that the black tortoise hunchback tablet was able to scare away the living beings in the black fog was because the black tortoise hunchback tablet itself was extraordinary. It's not because of the effect they achieved by sacrificing children." Lin Feng nodded and began to try to establish a connection with the bamboo slip again. Not long after, Lin Feng once again entered the world of the bamboo slips. He saw many ancient cities rising from the ground. Many races and tribes had moved into these cities. These races and tribes gradually began to integrate. This was the initial stage of the integration of the races and tribes. When the living beings in the black fog descended once again, the races and tribes living in these cities joined forces and fought back with all their might, engaging in a desperate battle with the living beings in the black fog. In the end, the living beings in the black fog were forced to retreat. This was the first time the races and tribes had defeated the living beings in the black fog. The impact of this event was huge. Many ancient cities sprang up like bamboo shoots after the rain. More and more races and tribes moved into these ancient cities. As for the totem culture, it gradually declined. Only a few races and tribes in remote and backward places still maintained the customs of the totem culture. As time passed, the living beings in the black fog also disappeared. As for the various ancient cities, due to the competition for benefits, all sorts of conflicts erupted. And so, many ancient cities became enemies with each other. The battles between the ancient cities seemed to be even more bloody. Massacring the cities, it was not uncommon. The living beings in the black fog devoured many lives, but the battles between the ancient cities for benefits caused even more deaths, and it was even more tragic. This is the human heart, Lin Feng muttered to himself. Time slowly passed. Many powerful forces began to appear. Those powerful forces subdued one ancient city after another and obtained a large amount of territory. Then, those forces began to develop all sorts of resources in their own territory. A new battle for benefits began again. No one knew how much time had passed. When his ambition was gradually growing, it was many battles between the top forces also broke out because of this. Countless forces were involved, causing a situation where blood flowed like a river. A great era ended in this calamity. A new hope. It was also brewing. On this day, heavy rain poured down, and the blood-stained ground became muddy. In the surging river, a black tortoise appeared with a stone tablet on its back. The black tortoise stone tablet appeared. Lin Feng's mind trembled. He tried his best to see what was recorded on the stone tablet. However, no matter how hard he tried, he could not see the ancient words recorded on the stone tablet. Lin Feng was unwilling to give up. He continued to work hard. As for the curse brought by the black tortoise stone tablet, he did not care at all. Now that Lin Feng had 3 curses on him, if the black tortoise stone tablet really brought curses to cultivators, 1 more curse was not much. 1 less curse was not much. Moreover, he learned from the demon lord that the cultivators who obtained the opportunity from the black tortoise stone tablet all met with misfortune in their later years. Lin Feng's life had just begun. He still had a long lifespan. People had to live in the present. He would not think about things that happened in his later years. The black tortoise stone tablet swam along the river into the distance. Lin Feng followed closely behind the black tortoise stone tablet. He could not comprehend the words on the black tortoise stone tablet. However, before the black tortoise stone tablet disappeared, he imprinted it in his mind. Lin Feng returned to the real world from the world of the bamboo slip. At this moment, the bamboo slip burst into flames. This shocked him. Lin Feng wanted to extinguish the flames. However, he failed. The flames burned fiercely. The bamboo slips were burned to ashes. "Looks like you've obtained something," the demon lord said in surprise. Lin Feng nodded. He revealed a joyful expression and said, "I imprinted the black tortoise stone tablet. I wonder how powerful it will be after I use it?" The demon lord was shocked and said, "Any divine ability related to the black tortoise stone tablet will be extremely heaven-defying." Chapter 2066. In the blink of an eye, 3 months had passed. During these 3 months, Lin Feng had been comprehending the black tortoise camel tablet. "We're going to die, we're going to die. Master, quickly come and save us, Master, save us." 2 voices suddenly sounded in Lin Feng's mind while he was cultivating. Although they were very weak, Lin Feng still caught them. When he heard the voices, Lin Feng's expression changed slightly. They were the voices of Du Zhu and the Shadow Void Beast. "What happened?" Lin Feng frowned. Lin Feng, Du Zhu, and the Shadow Void Beast were master and servant. They could sense each other's situation through the connection between their souls. However, this connection was extremely weak. Previously, Lin Feng had tried to sense Du Zhu and the Shadow Void Beast's aura several times, but he didn't find anything. But now, he could sense Du Zhu and the Shadow Void Beast's cries for help. Lin Feng tried his best to sense Du Zhu and the Shadow Void Beast's location through the weak connection between their souls. Suddenly, he felt that he was immersed in a pitch-black world. This pitch-black world was filled with terrifying killing intent. However, the connection was very weak and disappeared without a trace in an instant. "Damn it!" Lin Feng's expression was very gloomy. He tried to sense the pitch-black world again, but he couldn't sense it anymore. Lin Feng's expression became very ugly. "What is that place?" Lin Feng muttered to himself, frowning. There was one thing that Lin Feng was sure of. That place was definitely Jiuzhou. Back then, he had been separated from Du Zhu and the Shadow Void Beast in the Netherworld Sea. Clearly, Du Zhu and the Shadow Void Beast were in a very bad situation. They seemed to be imprisoned in that pitch-black world. Lin Feng wanted to save them, but he needed to find out where that place was before he could save them. The key was that Lin Feng didn't know where that place was. Now, Lin Feng hoped to be able to contact Du Zhu and the Shadow Void Beast again. However, he knew that he had to wait for an opportunity. He was fine. The key was Du Zhu and the Shadow Void Beast sighed. Only Lin Feng could sense the divine consciousness waves of their cries for help. However, Lin Feng guessed that it would be very difficult for divine consciousness waves to be transmitted from the place where Du Zhu and the Shadow Void Beast were trapped. The only thing Lin Feng could do was wait, of the Empress of the Bloodline. This bloodline awakening took a total of 3.5 months. After coming out of seclusion, the Empress's body had an additional sacred aura. Is everything going well? The Empress nodded slightly and said, Pack your things. Let's leave this place. Lin Feng nodded. After packing up the various things in the cave, the two boarded the Pirates of the Gods and returned the way they came. Lin Feng noticed that the Empress was often in a daze. She was a little absent-minded. This made him very puzzled. He didn't know what had happened. Wife, what are you thinking about? Lin Feng asked. The Empress shook her head. Lin Feng saw that the Empress didn't want to talk about it, so he didn't ask further. The Empress was a very opinionated woman. If she wanted to say something, she wouldn't hide it. If she didn't want to say it, she wouldn't say it even if he asked. Ghouls' ships would appear in the passage to the netherworld every day. There were different people sitting on the ghouls' ships. They were about to enter the netherworld. Lin Feng didn't know what the fate of these ghouls would be in the netherworld. Was there really a 6 paths of reincarnation? Would they be reincarnated? After all, this was just a legend. Many people couldn't tell whether it was true or not. Do you think that one day, we will also board a ghoul's ship and enter the netherworld? The Empress looked at the ships of the dead spirit and muttered. Lin Feng didn't know why the Empress asked this. He felt that the Empress had become a little abnormal ever since she came out of seclusion. She seemed to have a lot on her mind. Lin Feng grabbed the Empress's hand and said, Even the ruler of the netherworld can't do anything to us. If he dares to do anything to us, I will smash his palace. Pfft. The Empress couldn't help but laugh. She snorted and said, Violent maniac! This is called heroic spirit, said Lin Feng smiling. He stretched out his hand and hugged the Empress. The Empress waved her fist and threatened. Are you itching for a beating? Lin Feng smiled embarrassedly and didn't dare to be presumptuous. 5 days later. Yin and Yang reversed. The entire Pirates of the Gods flipped over. Whoosh! In the next moment, they returned to the real world from the passage to the netherworld. At this moment, night fell. The moon was as bright as a plate. Stars dotted the starry sky. It was a beautiful scene. The Empress said, I'm leaving. Where are you going? Lin Feng looked at the Empress and asked. He guessed that the Empress must have awakened some special memories when she awakened her bloodline. One had to know that these ancient bloodlines didn't just contain divine abilities and techniques, they also contained many memories. Yuwa's bloodline naturally had many secrets. Perhaps the Empress had awakened some of these secrets. I'm going to a place to verify some things. This place is too sensitive. I can't tell you because I'm afraid of harming you. The Empress's voice was a little gloomy. Is this place very dangerous? Lin Feng asked. It's very dangerous for outsiders, but it's not dangerous for me. You don't have to worry about me. The Empress forced a smile. Lin Feng hugged the Empress. This time, the Empress didn't refuse. She leaned into Lin Feng's embrace. No matter what, don't forget that there's someone far away who's worried about you. Lin Feng said softly. Okay. The Empress nodded slightly. Lin Feng sent the Empress off. Then, he returned to the Dragon Gate Island alone on the ancient starship Xianyuan. He lay on the deck, and the warm sunlight shone on his body. It was very comfortable. That night, dark clouds rolled and a storm raged. In the darkness, the boat of curses rushed out from the deep sea. Captain, that kid is alone. Should we capture him and bring him to the boat? One of the crew members asked. No, that woman is too scary. Many of the crew members shouted. They thought of the Red World Fairy, the woman who had mastered the Tao of Fate. The captain of the boat of curse said grimly, Now is not the time to fall out with immortal Hongchen. Then, should we continue to let that kid get away with it? Another crew member asked. The Boat of Curses captain laughed sinisterly. I've already figured out the direction of that kid's fate. Just wait and see. Soon, he'll board the Boat of Curses. Chapter 2067. After returning to the Dragon Gate Island, Lin Feng sent Ding Yinzhong to visit Wen Xiren, Zhuge Qinyi, and Shuai Liangqiu on his behalf with some gifts. People needed to keep in touch with each other. If they didn't keep in touch, no matter how good their relationship was, it would become estranged. Lin Feng was very clear about that. Apart from visiting the three people, Lin Feng also asked Zhuge Qinyi to help him refine a batch of giant spirit stone cannons. Although Wen Xiren and Zhuge Qinyi hadn't joined the Dragon Gate yet, they would still give Lin Feng face. Now Lin Feng's ancient ship, the Xianyuan, was equipped with giant spirit stone cannons with terrifying power. Therefore, Lin Feng had to make good use of the time to store up some spirit stone cannons in case he needed them. After returning to the Dragon Gate, everything was relatively calm. Not long after, Princess Shirley came to Lin Feng's place. Then, she settled down at Lin Feng's place. Princess Shirley planned to tell Naza about her relationship with Lin Feng. Lin Feng didn't have any objections. That night, Princess Shirley and Naza snuggled up to each other and chatted. Naza talked about Lin Feng. Princess Shirley was worried that Naza would be too agitated. She might do something irrational. However, Naza remained calm. She giggled and said, I'm happy to see Big Sister Shirley and Big Brother Lin together. Why would I blame Big Sister Shirley? I can live with Big Sister Shirley in the future. You little girl! Princess Shirley gently stroked Naza's hair. Master, many unknown spies have appeared around the Dragon Gate. They seem to be related to the 9th Evil Dragon Palace. The next day, Wan Yinyang came to report to Lin Feng. Lin Feng said, This is within my expectations. Wan Yinyang said, Is the 9th Evil Dragon Palace planning to attack the Dragon Gate? Lin Feng said, This is the ancient desolate sea, not the 9th Evil Dragon's territory. Even if the 9th Evil Dragon wants to attack, he'll have to think twice. There's no need to worry for now. Lin Feng continued, Strengthen the training of the cultivator army. Even though the 9th Evil Dragon won't attack us for a while, it's inevitable that the battle will happen sooner or later. It can't be avoided. Understood. Wan Yinyang replied and left. The Dragon Gate became relaxed on the outside. Lin Feng had destroyed the 9th Evil Dragon Palace, and the Mermaid Clan's plan to destroy Shanghai and steal the Dead Spirit Talisman. This was the conflict between the two sides. Of course, Lin Feng didn't care. He and the Evil Dragon Palace had been enemies for a long time. Even without the matter of the Deep Sea Demon Kingdom, the relationship between the two sides would be irreconcilable. As for the Mermaid Clan, Lin Feng didn't care about them for the time being. The Merman race's territory was in the Netherworld Sea. The last time they sent troops to deal with the Deep Sea Demon Kingdom, it caused many forces to be dissatisfied. The merfolk had overstepped their boundaries. They had led such a large army to a place that did not belong to them. This was a taboo. If not for the fear of the Evil Dragon Palace, many factions would have already attacked the merfolk cultivator army that had overstepped their boundaries. The merfolk naturally knew this. In order to quell the anger of the various factions, the merfolk cultivator army had quickly returned to the Dark Sea after failing to attack the sea. Therefore, Lin Feng did not have to worry about the merfolk for the time being. His main enemy was the 9th Evil Dragon Palace. This was a war that could not be avoided. It was also a war that Lin Feng had to win. If he could destroy the 9th Evil Dragon Palace, the Dragon Gate's territory would expand wildly. At that time, it would attract even more experts to join them. Moreover, Lin Feng had a gentleman's agreement with Wen Xiren and Zhuge Qinyi. Once the 9th Evil Dragon Palace was destroyed, these two would join the Dragon Gate. The two of them were not only giant god-level experts. Wen Xiren was also a spirit array master and Zhuge Qinyi was an alchemist. Their value was not something that ordinary giant god-level experts could compare to. Master, come and save us! If you don't save us, we're going to die! Master, save us! Save us, we don't want to die! On this day, when Lin Feng was cultivating, he once again heard that faint cry for help. This was the cry for help from Du Zhu and the Shadow Void Beast. Through that weak feeling, Lin Feng realized that he had once again arrived at that dark world. However, his divine sense was soon cut off from that dark world. He wanted to sense that dark world, but he could no longer sense it. The world of darkness is like a cage. Lin Feng frowned slightly. Now that both Du Zhu and the Shadow Void Beast were still alive, it could be considered a blessing in disguise. Lin Feng could only continue to wait for Du Zhu and the Shadow Void Beast to contact him. That afternoon, Sun Jian came to Lin Feng's place. He first bowed to Lin Feng, then said, "My lord, there's a change in the Deep-Sea Devil Cave." The Deep-Sea Devil Cave was very strange. There seemed to be a terrifying creature sealed in the depths of the Deep-Sea Devil Cave. Therefore, Lin Feng ordered people to seal the place where the Deep-Sea Devil Cave was located. And no one was allowed to go near it. "What happened?" Lin Feng asked. "The demonic qi dissipated. The Dragon Gate cultivators guarding the Deep-Sea Devil Cave were invaded by the demonic qi. It was as if they had been hit by some evil spell. All of them rushed into the Deep-Sea Devil Cave and died tragically inside," Sun Jian said. Lin Feng frowned. What he was worried about had happened. The Deep-Sea Devil Cave was too strange and terrifying. Now that the Deep-Sea Devil Cave had changed, it was not a good thing. "Let's go! Let's go and take a look!" Lin Feng stood up and said. He then went to the Deep-Sea Devil Cave with Sun Jian. The Deep-Sea Devil Cave was only 100 li away from the Dragon Gate Island. This distance was too close. Therefore, if there was a big change in the Deep-Sea Devil Cave, it was very likely that it would cause some unimaginable serious consequences for the Dragon Gate. After arriving at the Deep-Sea Devil Cave, Lin Feng found traces of demonic qi dissipating from the Deep-Sea Devil Cave. He sealed a strand of demonic qi and carefully sensed it. "Jia jia jia jia." Suddenly, a sinister voice came out from the demonic qi. Lin Feng was startled. "The demonic qi has a spirit. Is it because of the terrifying creature sealed in the Deep-Sea Devil Cave? That's too scary!" Lin Feng couldn't help but take a deep breath. He didn't know what kind of creature was sealed in the Deep-Sea Devil Cave, but this creature was definitely unimaginably terrifying. "Demon Lord, what do you think?" Lin Feng asked through voice transmission. "It seems like it's really troublesome. This creature has been sealed for who knows how many years, but it's still so terrifying. The origin of this sealed creature is unimaginable," Demon Lord said with a frown.